Kane Johnson, Lance Whitnall, and a young tacker with a creative coin toss. Won by the Blues skipper. It's the city end right of screen. The new Carlton skipper.
The new Carlton skipper, and I just saw the new Carlton star. Well, he's been a star for a couple of years, as we say hello and welcome back to the studio to you, Spud. I just saw Fevolenko belt one from about 45 straight through post high, so his knee looked pretty good then.
Well, it's great to see, and I think it's fair to say whichever back line can contain the power forward from each opposition. I talk about Favola and Richardson. I think that's going to be the difference in the end. I hope both forwards get on top, and we just see there a little bit of
riding, but also a six-pack. So he's in pretty good nick, is Fev. And off the back of a star NAB Cup season, he just must be brimming with confidence, Quinton.
I reckon he would be, Jared. I reckon he is set to go, and he's going to enjoy these new rules.
Well, if you don't take front spot here, you need to head red, because right throughout this first round, Spud, we've seen plenty of free kicks paid to defenders and the forwards if they take the front spot. Darren Gasper would be a worried man right now.
Yeah, and that's why I think, I just got a gut feel, I'm not sure where he'll play, but I just think he'll play up the ground, because he looked all at sea on Otten's in the NAB Cup in round one. So we'll just be interested to see those matchups nice and early, to see who goes to Favola and who goes to Whitnall.
They've got a few options down there. Josh Kennedy, they've got Whitnall that can go forward as well, and he looks like he's going to start there. It's a pretty potent forward line, and if Eddie Betts and Fisher can get a bit of it, and they don't become too Favola conscious, then they've got some troubles, the Tigers.
Well, I'm pretty sure Gasper's going to Whitnall and Joel Bowden's going to take Favola.
O'Halpin and Richardson are getting frisky. Our umpires, Matthew Nichols, Chris Camelins and Martin Ellis, are wide for sound. Sunday night football is here on Fox Sports AFL. Enjoy it.
Big job for Kane Ackland. He's got to not just win taps, but he's got to move around the ground. But been very impressed with Cameron Cloak in the pre-season.
It's Patterson of the Tigers with the opening hit out to Foley. Kane Johnson has kicked it the wrong way.
You idiot.
Kane Johnson's first kick of the year is deep into Carlton's attacking zone, and Kane was there for the coin toss.
This is amazing. This could be a strategy, though. We know that players are getting attacks off half-back, Spud, but that's taking it to too high a level.
It's fair to say he's pumped. Probably too much so, Clinton, I think.
That is stunning. Danny, they didn't do that in your day there.
Wow,
interesting matchup, though. Kane Johnson on Nick Stevens.
Here's Walker for the Blues for Carazzo, sending it to the goal square. Going to ground Kennedy. The pressure is on.
Good stuff.
That's good work by Luke McGuan in his third senior game. To midfield. Carlton with numbers. This is Murphy. Good to see him back in action. Polo had a big year last year, working with Delidio with the Crew Cup now, and Foley getting one high for a free.
Goes without saying that midfield pressure is so important, and we saw three Blues players tackle there, but it was the Richmond man that went hardest at the footy.
Tigers can look to run. The lead out to half forward. The kick is good. And this is the new Tiger, the former Docker Graham Polak starting in the forward line.
Is that a surprise, Danny?
No, it's not. And we've got Jared Waite on him as well. Great success so far in the pre-season.
This is the matchup. Richardson and O'Halpin. Richo. Oh, Richo! Not quite.
But you saw the strength advantage there. I mean, Satana's still just a young guy, and he's going to get a lot stronger with a few more summers in the weight room. But right now, he doesn't want to be linking arms with the big bull.
Gee, it's a good buzz around this stadium. Terrific crowd in. Up at around the 50,000 mark already, it would appear, as Kennedy gets a free.
There's that new rule there, Jared. Just touch his hands on the back there.
Well, if you take the front spot, you're going to get rewarded. And he's a player of the future, is Josh Kennedy.
Oh, and again.
Two in a row there, so the umpires are right onto it, Clinton.
This is Fisher with the free. Sending it towards half forward. And good work by Cracker. Waiting at the back was Houlihan. Now the Tigers. Foley getting plenty of it early, going towards Richardson, and the big man's got it again.
Well, you don't mind Richardson marking the ball there. He's a long way from goal.
He drives it up towards half forward. Carlton, Thornton fly. There's a high one. It's a Carlton free.
Yeah, it was a little bit high there. There's no doubt. Went for the marking drills we see here on the replay. Hyde just went too high with the hand there over the top of Thornton there.
Scotland can bring it out towards the members' wing. Running is Carazzo. Off a big year. Looking to go. Still with space. Carazzo driving it to the hot spot at the top of the square. Favola there. Big fly from Moore to slap it away. And the Tigers are happy to concede a behind.
Just watching Newman there, he was sagging off trying to help out Favola. His direct opponent, Carrazzo.
And are we seeing a bit more of this in this opening round? Long kicks to big contests. It's almost like kick to kick has come back into vogue.
Well, what we've seen so far, I'm pretty excited with this game so far.
Joel Bowden put a foot over the line. In cricket parlance, that's a no ball. We'll get a bounce.
Bad signs for the Tigers. They've had their two most experienced players make fundamental errors. One kicking it the wrong way and that one a no ball.
Now, will the Tigers try to concede a behind? They do. And Joel will do it again. The new president of the AFL Players Association.
Saw the runner out talking to Kane Johnson.
Another look at how he stepped out.
What do you reckon he said, Jared?
No idea, Danny, to be honest. It could be 100 different
Kick it that way? Kick it our way, preferably.
Probably the more obvious.
Tigers work it to the wing. This is Chris High. Didn't miss a game last year. And a careless start opens the door for Stevens. No Blues at centre-half forward for Favola coming out after it and then collects more weight. Now we'll see what's going to happen.
It's got to be 50, you would have thought. No.
No. Off to Andrew Raines.
It was a great grab from Moore, just kept his eyes on the ball.
And good to see Chris Newman back for the Tigers as well. Foley getting a bit of it. Kicks a poor one. Lappin. Gee, did well.
Brilliant Lappin. Reads it as well as anybody and knows that Richardson is going to be the target.
Favola too far out to score, although the goal square is unguarded. He loads it up, Big Fev. He gives it everything. Oh. Picking up from where he left off in the NAB Cup. Brendan Favola, last year's Coleman medalist, launches a barrel.
Well, that's just magnificent football. Well called, Clinton, because Favola, he assessed it beautifully. He took the mark 70 out. He looked up. There was no one in the goal square, and he's just gone whack with the one wood. That was a sweet spot there, Jared, wasn't it?
I wouldn't have that feeling ever in my golf games, but well done to Matthew Lappin again. It was a pretty ordinary kick going into Richardson. It should have been a shot at the other end of the ground, but brilliantly read by Lappin, who's pushing off a wing, and he just looks like he's becoming a bit of a sweeper.
Direct Blues so far, 11 kicks, 4 handballs. The Tigers 11 and 13. Free kick going Carlton's way, advantage play on. This is Stevens going for Carrazzo. Can he get around Newman? Big turning circle, pops it up. Whitnell in from the side, big leap by Ackland. Tigers with numbers back there. Little careless gasp of the soccer by Fisher. Will get a boundary throw in.
Well, it's Matthew Lappin coming in off the square again, and his direct opponent really needs to play a little bit tighter. Howard, he's a young player. He's on one of the guns of the competition when he's in form.
Hacking it out of midair. Ackland for behind.
It's a big job for Patterson, isn't it? He normally plays half forward, centre half back. He's in the ruck, so they're desperately missing Troy Simmons at the moment.
And rucks, in this day and age, they just have become even more important. We saw Adelaide go down today against the Bombers, and they got badly beaten in the ruck division.
Newman, deliberate, and a good call.
2 metres. Went straight over the line.
Stevens, Carlton full of running early. Favola sends it over, boundary throwing.
Carlton got all the momentum, yet they've only kicked the one goal. They're getting the rub of the green with the umpires. And I know it's only early, but you've really got to make the opposition pay when you've got the momentum.
Russell, Gibbs, Cloak and Wiggins starting on the bench for the Blues as Gasper in the ruck. Knocking it down. Hard to get out of there in a hurry. Going to ground was Polo. Foley for tambling. Look at the pressure by the Blues forwards. Tigers get a free.
Easy boys, eh?
They're pretty keen to get involved, all players, but you've got to still bear in mind if you dive into a pack that you don't give away careless free kicks, because all of a sudden you're under some running pressure.
Good vision. Polo to tambling on the wing. Wide for Richardson.
Patterson gets a rest.
Boundary throwing.
Down on the boundary line, Rowan Smith, plenty of interchange early in the match. And we'll get to Rowan.
Oh, he's just pacing himself.
Man of few words.
It's interesting, Patrick Bowden's gone straight into the ruck. He's only 6'3".
Did well with that hit out to Hyde. His handball deflected away. Lappin for Stevens. Draws the defence. Got to get rid of it now. Over the top. Caught. Good tackle on Bentic. Not rewarded. And the Tiger fans are not happy.
We'll go down again. Rowan, you used to play with Patrick Bowden. Is he capable of going into the ruck, Jules, or will he be just a ruck rover type?
what he's going to do, he's very athletic and he's got a good tank. So what he'll do is he'll just compete in the ruck and then hopefully win the ball around the ground.
Here's Mark Murphy being caught by Polo, and that one is holding the ball.
Well, that was a magnificent tackle there from Polo. The Tigers really need to put pressure on him here.
They can work it towards Patrick Bowden. Punches the handball on. This is Cameron Howard. Recent promotion from the rookie list. Tigers inside 50. Nice spoil. Waiting down Pettifer. Is a goal sneak, as we know. And that one is terrific. What a way to start the year for Kane Pettifer. Tigers get there first. Pettifer booted 31 last year, and the margin is 2 points.
Well, just great contest football. You just see the power forward in Polak go in there, and Wake did a terrific spoil, but as all good half-forward flankers, Jared, where should they be?
Well, they're front and square, but what was important was he was not just at the feet. He could almost sense that it was going to be a big whack, and he picked it up 5 metres clear, and his conversion was superb.
And we've got Schultz going forward now, and Polak. Polak's having a run in the ruck, so...
That's his best position, I think. I've seen him play there with Fremantle. He's a dangerous ruckman, and I reckon it'd be a good option to bring Cameron Cloke on to go with him.
So 2 new ruckmen there for the respective teams, Ackland and Polak, as Howard with the soccer out to the southern wing. The bounce is kind. Houlihan tucks it under the arm and runs. A bounce, 55 out, long to the hot spot. Got to beat a couple there for Vola. Kept his footing well. Eddie Betts putting the pressure on Johnson, and it's a throw.
She said Favola conscious, Danny. 2 blokes dropping back to Favola, which means possibly Lance Whitnell free.
Eddie, will he play on? He's so crafty here around the goals.
So the forward pressure from Carlton's been excellent here tonight so far. Illustrated by Betts' tackle.
And he loves this ground, doesn't he? Oh, look at that.
Eddie.
Oh, he's going to be something. Not quite goal of the year for him just yet, as he's had here previously, but it's the Blues second. They're out by 8 points.
High standard set early by Russell Robinson Friday night, but look, Eddie, no, he won't even make the final with that one. But Danny, we've got a live game here. This is going to be a beauty. Both sides are up.
Well, no doubt, Jared. All the games so far, both sides are attacking. That's what I like. There's no flooding. There's no slow possession football. Both sides are just really trying to get the ball in there.
And you can see there, pretty graphically, a good decision by the umpire. Just a left-hand give from Kane Johnson under pressure, all brought about by a darn good tackle.
How good's this has? Atmosphere.
Oh, it's a great
for these
way
two
to start
clubs
for the G.
Yep.
Bryce Gibbs just came onto the ground as well.
9th and 16th last year, and they've drawn a finals-type crowd.
Bryce Gibbs has replaced Matthew Lappin on a wing, so the rotation's beginning pretty quickly.
Both sides have got a loose man too, Jared. We've got Scotland at one end, Moore at the other for Richmond.
Stevens with the free, goes for Carazzo. He's got a lot of space.
It's a lot of footy too.
Gets around Tambling, could go all the way. He's 50 out, on the run, another one! Andrew Carazzo, great presence of mind there to wheel around Tambling, and the finish was good.
You're right, Marty, you're right now.
I don't know this for a fact, Danny, but you would think that a lot of coaches would have put a lot of time into guys kicking goals from outside 50, because there's just so many numbers dropping back now that if you can convert from on that forward 50 where there is some space, then it's probably the easiest spot to convert.
And I've got no doubt what I've seen so far, the speed injection of Carlton. The younger players have all got leg speed, and it was a real query on Carlton for the last 2 years, but they're running on top of the ground here at the minute.
21-7, back in the centre. Gibbs in the first 4 there now for the Blues. This is Russell who is tied up.
And Nick Stevens has got a hard tag on him with Kane Johnson. He's had 6 possessions early in the piece, so I suspect that may be why the runner was out talking to Kane Johnson, just to tighten up early in this match.
Oh, Carazzo with the hit out to Betts was special. Foley with his 8th possession defers to Howard. Gibbs with the pressure, a bounce.
No chance, tackled immediately. Thanks, Ken.
And a tool for a small rotation
What's
there.
going on, you boys?
Brian Smith, Josh Kennedy off, and the youngster coming on.
Tuck, go on, Ryan.
Just down here at ground level, the pressure at Carlton putting on the players is just immense. They're really tackling very hard.
O'Halpin with the spoil on Richardson. Waite riding shotgun for him, sees Lappin, and effects a good switch. The veteran Blue runs and delivers perfectly for Stevens on the wing. Momentum with them.
Got a hold of the Tigers. The Blues are sharp. They've got the momentum, as you said. And Danny, they may even think about pushing extra defenders down. They've got 2 down there mining Fev now.
Here's Stevens spearing it towards Favola. Again, he's got to beat a couple. And a boundary throw-in will be the result.
You're spot on there, Jared. You saw that marking contest there. Newman has got no disregard for his direct opponent. He's up the ground, so he's saying, I'm going to stay back and double team Favola with Bowden.
Blues attacking again with Ackland the hit out. Walker. Murphy caught high. And it's a report.
Well, I don't think he'll go anywhere with that one because Mark Murphy ducked his head.
Another example of the new rule in action about protecting the player with his head over the ball. That is what Murphy had. And Luke McGuan in just his 3rd senior game. And his name goes in the book.
Well, it was just careless, wasn't it? He just had to hover around him.
Don't think that's going.
I think he'll get off, but yeah, in the letter of the law, he just had to stay back.
Bump him, did he?
No.
Anyway, Mark Murphy slots this. That would really bring the Blues crowd to the fore. Whew.
Just across the face.
Brian Houlihan has been left alone across half back. He's such a skilled player. He's going to chop you up like a razor blade if he gets the footy.
Polak over the top of Russell on the 2nd effort. Foley's been the funnel for many attacks. Rains is caught high.
Well, he's had 9 possessions, Clinton. Foley's been everywhere.
And there have been a lot of whistles. 11 free kicks in the opening 14 minutes. 7 to Carlton, 4 to the Tigers. The ball comes to Polak, who's covering some ground.
They've still got plenty of pace off that half back line, Richmond. If they get let loose, they're going to be damaging.
Here's Pettifer.
Polak off again.
He'll get
Patterson on.
He'll get the trip here, Pettifer. It's just a question of accuracy.
Going to go short, and that's a good pass. There was loose checking by the Blues, and Schultz coming out of the goal square can have a shot at goal with his first kick.
Danny made a fair point, I reckon, early in the piece. Carlton have dominated this quarter. 3-4, they've had the 7 scores. And yet, if Pettifer can put this one through, Tigers right well and truly in it. So
Schultz.
That'll be Jay Schultz.
Interrupted by shoulder injuries last year, played just the 12 games. Tigers need a steadying goal. It's coming back. It's good. (3-4) plays 2-1 on Sunday Night Football here on Fox Sports AFL.
Well, that's great team football there from the Tigers, in particular Kane Pettifer. I think most players assume, and look, Polak's had a bit of an impact since he's gone into the ruck. So most players assume when Pettifer took this mark here, he was just going to go back and have a crack at it. And I think even Jared Waite did as well, and he allowed Schultz too much space. But that's great unselfish play there from Pettifer, much improved player.
Well, I assumed it. I didn't even know he'd passed it, Danny. I was down looking at my book. So it was a darn good. In fact, we've seen a world first today. Scotty Lucas handballed over the top for a goal. And in the Bombers' great victory. And it's all about the team if you want the result.
And he still kicks 7 for the afternoon. Cameron Cloak rucking for Carlton now against Patterson in the middle. And might have to do it again. They're hailing the cab. Surely a bounce.
Had it initially, then it came out the back.
For our digital subscribers, you can press red to go active. Every Sunday evening, choose the angle you want. We'll stay on with the press conferences after the game as Tuck goes to Tambling. And now Foley with another possession. Back to Tuck, caught by Cloak. Little kick forward. Quick hands by Gibbs, setting up Thornton and Wiggins and Stevens. Stevens now towards Whitnell. Gasper, good spoil. Whitnell's got him.
It's good call by you, Danny, getting the Gasper matchup spot on.
Rains for his skipper. Tigers just a step ahead there. Here's Foley again. Now Joel Bowden, the run from defence. The delivery to midfield was poor, although Thornton, 2 grabs, not the 3rd. Opens the door, Tambling coming through. Wrapped up, good pressure, Wiggins holding the ball.
Just at the other end of the ground, you can see the rationale behind the matchup of Joel Bowden on Favola. They want him on the end of every handball. They want him attacking, and they want Favola conscious of his man all the time.
Correct way.
Walker to Fisher.
Don't hold!
Now Favola's back against Moore. Won't get to this contest. Gasper in front. Did well, the former All-Australian. The handball, though, Well, there's Foley again prizing it clear.
Jeez, he was lucky Gasper that Foley was on the spot.
Patrick Bowden back for Johnson, going towards Richardson.
Starting to settle the Tigers.
Open forward line, although the Blues are getting
hard
back.
running from Hyde
Yeah,
here.
he's going to be on the end of it, isn't he, Danny? Good call. Scotland over the top. Did he get rid of Hyde? Play on the call. Wiggins. Good pressure by Thornton. Nice shepherd on tuck. And the Blues can clear with Fisher. Now Carazzo. The run provided by the former Magpie in Scotland. And the kick is perfect. Walker doesn't break stride. It's the play of the day. Is this the same Carlton we saw so often last year?
Well, it's the one we saw in the NAB Cup. And I think their form was indicative of where they're at. They are going to be a tough side to beat. They'll be competitive most of the year. And if you want to beat Carlton, you're going to have to beat a side that is looking at finals. And I think the Tigers also have been quite impressive as well, Danny. We know they've got a couple of their key players out, but the Blues are up and about, and they are just drinking the enthusiasm that's been around the club.
Well, Walker, on his debut, was sensational. 3 or 4 pre-seasons now. I think we're going to see the arrival of Walker. He's been a good player the last couple of seasons, but now we're going to see more attack.
And there was Cameron Cloak. He means business. This is his career. A second chance at the Blues, and he's been so impressive in the pre-season with his hands.
Look at that. Jared right on cue. Hit out for Stevens. He kicks Carlton to half forward. Kennedy is such a promising young player as well. Gathers, gives to Betts. Creative. Stevens caught by Johnson. Should be a bounce.
Well, Nick Stevens has had the 10 possessions, and Kane Johnson's going okay. He's only had the 5, but I think it's a leg speed issue at the moment. Nick Stevens, when the ball escapes the stoppage, is far too quick for Kane Johnson.
Who'd be the next option? We'll get your thoughts in just a sec.
Carazzo, again the third man up. Foley again getting the possessions. Tied up, should be a bounce. Waiting. Danny Froy on Fox Sports.
I'll be looking at Dean Polo. He's got a lot of great leg speed. Look, Kane's going okay, but just when the ball escapes, I'll be looking at Polo and let Johnson attack the ball.
Polo's been giving them plenty of run off half back. He's only had 4 or 5 possessions, but go the speed.
Patterson to Delidio, handball deflected to Gasper. Tigers back there. Johnson, Foley, look out. Did well, got it on. Howard running. Open territory forward, elects to go wide for tuck. Good second effort. McGuan, quick hands. Patrick Bowden getting it on. Tigers having to be patient and go short because they had flooded back in vast numbers, and Walker can't control with a boundary throw-in.
Well, the Tigers have got 3 pretty good options up forward, but they're just not being able to link up between defence and that half-forward line to get it into them at the moment, and the midfield pressure and numbers of the Blues is the key issue at the moment for Terry Wallace to work out through quarter time.
Richmond. Okay, thanks.
Well, Richmond have had 73 possessions for only 6 inside 50s. Carlton, on the other hand, have had 56 possessions for 12.
Well, how's Nathan Foley? He's had 15 touches himself now in 21 minutes. And the man in front will be the paid the mark there.
Tuck.
And the Tigers can have a shot at goal through Shane Tuck.
That's where they got the advantage, the Tigers. If they get the ball in and they can get a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-2, they've got some marking targets down there that could deliver them the result. Now, this is just a straight vertical leap. He's an athlete.
He certainly is, and that's the strength and the beauty of Tuck. He plays in the midfield, but he's 6'3".
And Dennis Pagan will take Jared Waite by the scruff of the neck and talk about punching from behind.
He looked good.
And Tuck's kick is a goal. Tigers get their third. The margin is 9 points. Time on opening term. Another look at the setup and the benefits, gentlemen, of playing in front.
Well, he should never have taken that. Jared Waite just was entitled to punch that, Danny, and he'd be pumped up and he'd be full of enthusiasm. He's in great form, but Dennis Pagan in the press today, he spoke about the basics, and there's nothing more basic than that for an AFL defender.
He'll learn from that. He's had a lot talked about him through the pre-season. He's going to be a centre-half back, but you've just got to play the percentages all the time.
Ground level, Rowan Smith.
Yeah, Johnson has just come off, and Tivendale's gone on to Stevens, so that'll be the matchup that Stevens has now. So he's getting plenty of the ball, so they've got to tighten up on him.
10 possessions, 4 of them handball receives. The good run of Nick Stevens, and he was waiting in the wings there. In fact, he smothers the attempted Tivendale kick, and we should get another bounce.
Well, Greg Tivendale's career was just about at the crossroads, Danny, when Terry took over, and I think he threw him the challenge last year of being a run-with player, and he did it with a lot of success. So this is now another time for a chance for him to reassert himself, although since he's been on, Stevens has had 3 touches.
Walker drives Carlton inside 50. Whitnell unable to trap it on the half volley. Bowden, Gasper, look out. Ball knocked away. Desperate acts required. Cracker tumbles it to Polak. Oh, look at this.
They're everywhere. The
2 Tigers. They've got to get something. Howard can go all the way. Show poise, young man. He does, and the finish is true. Back-to-back goals for the Tigers. We've got a shootout between the old rivals at the MCG.
Well, that was just the class of Andy Cracker. Just forced the ball forward, had the awareness, he had players around everywhere, and that was just magnificent to Polak. And then the run from the Tigers here, young Cam Howard, come off the rookie list, and he's got his opportunity. He's hungry, and that's a lot of poise there, Jude.
It was a good goal when he dummied a handball. He burnt one of his teammates, so he had to convert, and he did. And just having a look at Lance Whitnell, he needs the footy in his hand. He needs a couple of good grabs. He's like Greg Chappell was when he was getting all those ducks in a row. He was batting well, but he just couldn't find it. And Lance just needs somebody to handball him a ball so he can do something, just to get a bit of confidence in himself again.
Without a touch in the opening 25 minutes. 4 goals apiece. The bounce is terrible. Polak, Foley, Polo, Polak, Delidio. It worked. Drives the Tigers towards Richardson. O'Halpin on his hammer.
Oh, well done.
And the Irishman keeps his feet. And then look at that. Good nimble skills for Cloak, and now Bentic, and his kick is stolen away by Tivendale. It was intended for Simpson.
They could go in front of the Tigers.
Delidio for Tuck. 55 out, goes short, good kick, and Pettifer can give them the lead.
Well, they have settled brilliantly. They're winning the ball off half-back pretty well now, and they're just starting to get that loose guys across the middle and get it into one-on-one contests in this forward line, Danny, and they've got the goal kickers. Their forward line looks okay.
Well, Delidio in the last 3 minutes, every time he's touched the ball, Richmond has scored. So you want to get the ball in the best player's hands, and Delidio is a ripper.
This for the lead. It's been 3 goals in 4 minutes. And this one has turned around in a heartbeat.
So, Danny, are we going to see this for the whole match, or is it all of a sudden going to be more negative? Are coaches going to clam up, or are they going to say, well, let's just take them on?
No, I don't think so, Jared. I think when you've got 2 young teams such as this, you want to keep the instructions nice and simple. Win the ball, get it, move it quickly, get it to your power forwards, and create some space for each other. And both sides have been able to do that at the moment. We've talked about Steve, but Nathan Foley, 16 possessions. What a quarter of football.
Do you start worrying about, what is it, Peter Featherby with 55? The all-time leader for a game. Bounce in the middle. Tivendale. Delidio tied up by Simpson in a good tackle. Bryce Gibbs, first kick in AFL football. It's a dream debut. Are you kidding me? The highly fancied #1 draft pick in the right place at the right time. He's in the leadership group, and he says, hey, thanks, guys, for setting me up.
That looked like a young Jared Healy running through the lines. But have a look at that. Tackling forward pressure. Carazzo and Walker just handballed it to Gibbs. And I'll tell you what, that is great football. Dennis Pagan would be wrapped. That'll be on the highlights tape because they were all youngsters. Great team goal.
And I think Cameron Cloak had a bit to do with that tap as well. Nothing like me, Danny. 6 points in a row before I kicked the first goal.
And no histrionics. He acted like he'd been there before. Consider a career started for Bryce Gibbs. So the lead changes hands again in an entertaining opening term. Tivendale drives Richmond inside 50. Schultz in front, couldn't mark. Houlihan in trouble. Brought down. Schultz, ditto, a bounce.
The tackling from both sides, both coaches would be absolutely wrapped with the forward pressure at both ends. It's been elite at the moment.
Well, we've had some entertaining games. We've had perhaps one shocker, but we've had some entertaining games in the first round of footy. But this is right up there with the best.
Mine again.
Going to be a long opening quarter, less than 4 minutes remaining, and they've ticked over 28 minutes of playing time as Johnson's on for Howard. There's the Carlton forward line, as you see. Favola just loitering on the attacking 50 as the Tigers, with a window of opportunity presenting. Andrew Cracker, he can get it onto his boot quickly, although Wiggins pursuing him fast. The handball missed Richardson. Scotland working feverishly for the Blues, tambling for the Tigers. Richardson brought down. Some heat about this opening quarter. Free kick for a throw. And it's a Carlton free.
And that's what would be pleasing about this for the Tigers. Richo hasn't kicked a goal, hasn't had a lot of footy at all, and they're being pretty competitive.
Jared Waite.
Play on.
And at the other end of the ground, they've got Darren Gasper controlling Lance Whitnell, so both key forwards struggling for their respective sides.
Oh, Kennedy, did he trap it? Not quite. McGuan was right there. Wonderful pickup by Graham Polak. Hurries a kick forward. It's going to be an awkward one for Thornton, and it's over for a boundary throw-in.
I like McGuan's game on Kennedy so far. Just a youngster playing his third or fourth game. He's been really defensive on Kennedy.
And he is very lucky he didn't pop a shoulder just there. His right shoulder he grabbed at the end. It must have gone awfully close.
Bentic. And the number 7 jumper for the Blues. Going to Whitnell now. Lance will get his first touch. And the kick, not the most impressive of one, but the bounce is favourable for Josh Kennedy, who's away and just missing to the near side.
You'd like to have him in your young stocks coming through, Danny.
Well, he's 6'5", Jared. Another 2 pre-seasons. He's only about 90 kilos, but wait till he gets up to about 98, 99 kilos. He's going to be a power forward.
As Dennis Pagan said in the press this morning, the nucleus is there. Gibbs 18, Murphy 19, Kennedy 19, Russell 20, Walker 20. Young Blues emerging. 2 minutes left, opening quarter. It's been a beauty. Gasper with a loose man more to his left. He marks at 55.
No, back to meter now.
Looking to give it off right at the edge. He goes short, Johnson.
Well done to Nick Stevens. He covered Patterson, the ruckman, who was going to get on the end of a 15-metre chip kick.
Tuck's kick was good for Polak, and he wins a free.
Yeah, that's the new rule there. It was a great kick. There's not much the defender could do there, but Polak just jumped early. That was the key. When he jumped early, you see in the replay here, he jumps early, and then Waite was a little bit clumsy in the spawning attempt, it's fair to say. It was always a freak.
Yep.
But the key there was when Polak jumped early, Waite was all at sea.
Polak has started well in a Tiger jumper. He was the Dockers' number 4 draft pick back in the 2001 draft. He gets under this kick and misses badly to the near side for a behind.
It's never been his great strength.
No.
He's still a young man, but he's got to get better at conversion.
Just 9 goals in his 73 games at the Dockers. Carlton by 3 points. They attack via the southern wing. Favola a long way down the ground, held by Joel Bowden.
He's going to take the free kick behind his mark. Fev, back behind your mark, please.
Umpire Chris Camelon's providing the soundtrack. Tigers getting back.
Move it on. Play on.
And Favola loads up the torp, doesn't hit it well. Newman.
Not sure why you'd go a torp when you can kick a drop punt 65 metres.
That's a brain fade there from Favola.
Polo to Richardson on the northern wing. Final minute opening turn. Short ball, dangerous. Walker knocks it down. Richo's committed here. And does well against 2 young Blues. Johnson, Walker, caught, high. Free kick, Carlton. Gibbs will go. He's a smart young player. He does. Advantage play on. Favola with the set. See, the crowd went up with him. McGuan paddles it to Gasper. Fev says it's a throw. He should have been tackling there, shouldn't he?
You do not go to the umpire. You keep playing the footy.
Johnson on half-back. That is Brendan Favola to a T, isn't it?
You can't turn your back on the ball.
You're absolutely spot on, Jared. He would have been able to participate in that tackle and get a free kick.
Yeah, you've got to take the good with the bad. Newman.
Tell Dennis Pagan that, Clinton.
They'll come out and kick 5 in the second quarter. It's quarter time. How about that? What a turn. Great way to start Sunday night football here on Fox Sports AFL, and it's the Blues 5-5, the Tigers 5-2.
Well, if you're wondering whether you're going to get on board and support either of these clubs down here, you just say this is going to be one hell of an exciting year because we're playing exciting brand of footy. Who knows how it's going to finish, but on 30 minutes of exposure, these two clubs are worth paying the entrance fee. It's been brilliant, it's been scintillating, and there's been something in it for everyone.
Well, one game last night, there was 11 goals scored. We've already got 10 in a quarter. This is champagne football. Two good young teams just having a red-hot go.
That is great stuff from you. You've got champagne footy
football
out in the opening quarter.
Great to have Danny Frawley with us. It's the Blues 5-5, the Tigers 5-2 here at quarter time. Blues by 3 points to the punt road end, the left of screen in quarter number 2. Cloak against Patterson.
Good
and
jump.
it's the Tiger, Ruckman Patterson, who takes it, drives it immediately forward. Delidio got an awkward bounce, mopped up by Thornton of the Blues, now Houlihan.
Well, Terry Wallace would be filthy on that because they started with no centre-half forward, a real hole there, and Delidio ran into it, fumbled it, should have been a shot at goal.
Got to take your chances.
Cade Simpson, quiet opening term after a brilliant 2006, and the centering ball knocked away by Newman. That was a terrific spoil, and they're happy to concede a behind.
Well, it was great running from Cameron Cloak. Got into the hot spot. It just looked like a great kick from Simpson. But Newman, again, that's the value of him. Not only is he great disposal, but he's terrifically courageous in the air.
Broken leg in round 13 ended his 2006 season. Chris Newman making his return here this evening. And the footy in hand for the 24-year-old Tiger, and turning it over as Bryce Gibbs read it brilliantly.
Give him a wrap, and look what they do, Jared. Just said he's the best kick in the Richmond defence. And
mark there, Bryce?
he'd like to have that one again, it's fair to say.
That was entertaining stuff, but I was watching Danny when he said that. It was as if he was in the coaching box again.
He doesn't need that, does he?
He had that grimace.
So Bryce Gibbs lining up for his second goal now. On debut, the #1 draft pick, much heralded #1 draft pick from last year. And the kick is missing to the near side. 5-7 plays 5-2.
Terry Wallace keen to go at the matchup on Tivendale and Nick Stevens and release Kane Johnson.
Tigers huddling, nullified to a degree because Carlton was zoning. So that's why Joel Bowden, bereft of free men, has to kick to essentially a contest. They've got 3-on-2 though. The Tigers, good mark in front again, Adam Patterson.
And he flirted with it there, Joel Bowden. I think he's lucky that the field umpire was actually watching the ball and not watching his leg. It looked as if it was over or on again.
Play on!
Patterson from half back, floats it to the wing. Carlton with numbers. Kennedy in front, couldn't get it. Polo in trouble, will get a bounce. Eventually. Maybe. Umpire letting them play.
Steady up, steady up,
Thank you.
steady up, steady up, steady up. My ball.
It's good to see the umpire letting it go a
Give me
little
the
bit. He
footy, boys.
normally would have
Get
just
off
called
him,
that a
get
bit
off him.
quicker, but
Get off him.
a little bit of a scuffle
Give me
here
the
as we
footy,
see.
give me the footy, boys.
Walker,
And
Walker.
Polo always be the one to give the ball to the umpire. Oh, and now the Tigers get it through.
Run on with it.
Hyde will take it. Elects to go short. Andrew Raines.
Move it on.
Got his dad, Jeff's #4 on his back. Kicking it out very wide. Too wide for Pettifer.
Now, would Terry Wallace be saying
Dig at him.
to Pettifer,
Call for the ball
you
up.
could have marked that, or would he be happy that he made sure it went over the boundary
Steady
line?
up.
The first one, Jared, I think you've got to have a red-hot go at it, and that's Pettifer's
Play on.
go. Just attack the ball.
Simpson in the Betts direction. Boundary line would be a good result for the Blues because the Tigers have 2-on-1 here. Although Eddie Betts is tenacious and he wins a free. That is brilliant pressure by Eddie Betts.
He's got Lance running into space, and he's going to find him.
At the last moment, it was knocked away by Gasper. Now Newman, hemmed in by the Blues, affects the switch magnificently to Tambling. That's what Danny was talking about with his foot skills.
That's better.
Now Hyde on the outer wing.
Got Richo on.
He should be able to burn off Cloak. He does, and he can close. 60, 55, driving it to the hot spot. One-on-one battle. Schultz there. Waite knocks it down. Cracker going, lurking in the wings. He might get it, Cracker. Polo gives it to him. Tightest of angles.
Check.
He centres it. That is unselfish, and it was exquisite.
That's just brilliant footy. He knew the chances of him kicking the goal were about 100 to 1. And he was smart enough to feign a shot at goal and then swing around, and he found his target. That is just a class act from the young kid.
And Greg Tivendale will put the Tigers back in front, although after Shannon Grant's kick yesterday, we'll wait for confirmation. Indeed, it's a goal, and the Tigers have the lead once more.
Well, Andy Cracker's an MCG specialist, and he is. He loves playing at this ground. At Telstra, the ball escapes, but have a look at this. In traffic, on this ground, the ball doesn't bounce as high. He plays low, and in traffic, I don't think there's a better player. You know, he needs to work on his endurance and get a couple of easy possessions, but in close, there's no better player than Andy Cracker, and it'd be great to see him just get some easy possessions for a change.
What would you be saying to Richo right now? He's working hard. You can see he's frustrated when he isn't being made the target, because at the moment he can't get away from his man.
I think his work rate's been first class. Just keep at it. It'll happen.
4 lead changes this evening. Tigers by a point. Stevens getting in the back of Tivendale.
The Cameron Cloak ruck tap is superb at the present time, but it's a little bit predictable. He just goes to the back behind his head almost every time, and Nick Stevens is getting a field job.
Now Polo's got space.
Here it is.
There it is, Jared.
Finally, says Richo.
Now, will he have a shot from about 54?
This is his pet distance, Clinton. He loves this pocket here, right foot in. You'll see the big arc come, and he'll just go whack.
Another look.
And
Good
work
lead
from Matt Satanda. Fell for the dummy.
Yep.
He got pushed away.
Hang on. Off ball, there's contact. It's against weight on Pettifer. The greater penalty will be 50 metres, so Richardson will kick from the goal line.
And I'll guarantee you, the umpire will make sure sprinting. It's right on the goal line.
Yes, there'll be no shades of yesterday. So Richo gets a gimme, and the Tigers get the opening 2 of quarter number 2. Richardson with his first for the season, and the Tigers are out by 7 points.
Reward for effort. He has led all day, Richo, so far. We've got a quarter and a half, and it'll pay dividends because he'll just keep coming at the ball, the big fella, and if he gets in the right spot, it's a play with the ball's priority to give it to someone in a better spot, but he'll just keep trying, and there's no doubt Richo watched the game yesterday because he sprinted to the goal square to say to the umpy, I want to kick right on the line.
7-2, playing 5-7.
Interesting, we just saw the matchup with Brett Thornton on Kane Pettifer. This time last year, he would have been playing on someone 3 inches taller than him or 5 centimetres taller. Now he's playing on someone who's significantly shorter than him.
And he's still in the navy blue. Dennis Pagan writing him a letter.
What's the cloak
Essentially
again?
pleading with him to stay and not go to Hawthorn in the trading period. He stayed, and as Gerard said, has some help in the back half as Tivendale squirts it out wide and then follows it up well for Pettifer. Under pressure, turnover, punching the handball out as Walker to Betts, to Stevens, loves them on the run. Too far out here, handball over the top, Gibbs caught, play on. Pettifer in the back half, Joel Bowden concedes.
Well, Nick Stevens, if he had his time again, he'd probably go the left foot chip kick to Favola. The handball just wasn't long enough, and his man, I think it was young Gibbs, had to wait, and he was run over. Cloak off, and a fit and exuberant Ackland onto the ground. Don't you love it when your players come off, Danny? They're pumped and they get straight on and they show some energy coming off the ground.
Likewise, you want them sprinting off too, Jared. Which both sides have been doing today.
Howard, very, very unsure of which way to go. Squares it. The Tigers, patient. Polo with Murphy on his hammer. And Betts.
And he's one player that is really struggling under his own expectations. Just the one touch at the moment, Mark Murphy's been well tagged.
Tambling, slicing his way through the Blues midfield, and then was brought down. Carazzo did not concede at all. Reigns caught by Ackland. Great intensity. Richardson for Tivendale.
No right foot.
And devoid of short options following that right foot, so he defers to Johnson, and now Moore going to half forward, and Schultz is working hard. Tigers by a goal. Schultz too far out to score. Oh, it's a poor kick marked by
there,
Simpson.
Schultz looked up and he saw nothing, and in the end it was only a Carlton player.
He did that deliberately. Schultz saw nothing. Well done. Scotland.
With Carazzo on.
Got him. Favola on the lead. Not quite. Mopping up. Russell.
Bounce.
Got it. Great goal.
Scores level at the MCG as Jordan Russell, great presence of mind, bounces home his second goal in AFL footy.
Well, it was a good goal, Jerry, because he had to kick the ball on the full. It would have got smothered. The Richmond player was going to come in and smother the ball, so he just had the awareness to kick it end over end to say, well, if it's straight, it's going to go through, and that is a fantastic goal. Great skill. Rowan Smith, boundary side.
The big thing for Richmond in this second quarter is they've been getting players free in the midfield. But what you just seen then, if the ball turns over, the Carlton players are free and they can get a goal fairly easy.
Smithy, keep your eye on the Mark Murphy matchup, and we'll come back to you in just a sec. Tell us how he can get himself into this match, because right now he's being well tagged.
Yep.
Ackland to Stevens was superb out of the centre. On the lead, Kennedy had it knocked away. McGuan for Howard. A couple of younger Tigers. McGuan the soccer. Wide of Foley. Carazzo there for the Blues. And the kick is wide and it lands on the line. Boundary throw-in.
Been excellent, Carazzo. We'd like to have that kick again. He had 2 free Carlton teammates, but he's had the 11 possessions and run, carry the ball.
In front of a well-occupied Great Southern stand. The boundary throw-in. Gasper for Foley. Can he burn off Bentic? Did enough to get a kick away. O'Halpin read it well.
Bentic's done a very good job on Foley since quarter time. He's only had the 1 possession, Nathan Foley. 16 in the first quarter, so Bentic's doing his job there.
A former All-Star in hurling with County Cork. The now Carlton defender kicks the Blues to half forward for a boundary throw-in. Scratch of the head for the former Docker, Graham Polak. He's all right. Lights beginning to take effect at the MCG. There's Polak for Bentic. Throw, no, it's coming back in the back. Bentic.
Favola's got some space here.
Yep, and there he goes. Bentic delivers to him as we check the replay again, and Fev's got it.
Well, that's just great play from Carlton, because when you've got your power forward one-on-one with space to lead into, just kick the ball to space. The forward will always get on the end of it, and that was a magnificent kick. If you had waited another second, there would have been 3 Richmond defenders. We'll just have a look at the kick here. You see those 3 Richmond defenders trying to hover in. They couldn't get there in time, so it's great play there, Blues.
The All-Australian full forward
It's got to go sideways.
and runner-up in Carlton's best and fairest last year, looking for his second. You're right behind the kick, so you know what happened. Ugly.
Next to the post, Joel. That'll do there.
Gavin Krasiska to the right of Dennis Pagan. Former Magpie watching on as the Tigers are patiently bringing it out with Polak.
Play on.
Short ball. Finds DeWidio.
Play on.
Wide ball, good for Howard.
Fisher onto the ground. We haven't seen too much of Fisher. Big red comes off. And all of a sudden it's a different mix for the Richmond coaching staff. They're going to have to change players for sure.
He's only had the 1 touch, Whitnell, so Gasper's done a terrific job defensively.
Good switch here from the Tigers. Frees up more on the wing. Now he's got Rains and Tuck presenting short. Goes to the latter. Tuck can now, well, he should go long quickly. He's under some pressure. The hand pass was good to Johnson. He sends it wide for Tambling, and it's going to skew out of bounds for a throw-in. Tigers at the MCG last year won 5 of their 9 matches. The Blues winning just 1 of 7 games here, as you see Patterson warming up on the boundary line. Here's Tivendale. Patrick Bowden for Howard, getting a bit of it now, and the kick is wide. Nearly halfway through the second term, scores 11.
Well, you just sense halfway during the second quarter, the young legs are starting to get a little bit tired. There's a few mistakes creeping in. So the side that can capitalise on the mistakes will go in front at half-time.
Stevens is Carlton's chief ball winner with 15 touches. Finds Fisher, as Gerard said a moment ago, just on the ground.
Well, he can be a game breaker, this kid. He's so talented. And he's very mobile, but he can still take a big grab. Polo coming off the ground for a rest. And Patterson will go back into the ruck.
Gee, that was a great play from Walker.
Yeah,
there,
good
just
shepherding, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
And now Favola on the lead. He's had a sighter from this distance a moment ago. Will he go back and have a shot? Surely all good full forwards do.
Well, he will. And I suppose the positive for Bowden, Favola's had to lead wide to get his ball. He hasn't led up the middle of the ground. So as a defender, if they're going to mark it here, because the percentage rate is about 35%.
Gerard likes those odds, Danny. He actually says, I'll take that. And the same result. Identical. Both out of bounds on the fourth. And Fev gets the hangdog look about it.
Well, he's just going to have to work through this. He's had an injury, so he probably hasn't had his normal preparation through the week. Some players deal with that better than others, but right now Fev hasn't got the sights.
He's got it again.
Oh, he's going to have a third crack.
Well, Joel Bowden, he can do that at times, Gerard.
Oh. Goodness gracious me. Well, what happens with this one?
I think you put him down for this one. Okay. He's in another 10 metres from the boundary line. And if he's going to miss from the other side. That's what he's got to allow for. All good forwards make up for their mistakes. If you're going to miss it on the left side of the goalpost.
You see that bandage under the left knee. He's been getting intense occasional pain in that knee, which he first heard in the NAB Cup Grand Final. Two-siders, two out on the full. What about this time, Fev? It's a behind. And you've got to watch these Tiger kick-ins now.
It's a let off there for the Tigers.
And you see again Carlton zoning, the Tigers huddling from centre half back. Now they flood the great southern stand side, so the kick-in is in that direction, and with about a metre to spare, Johnson marks. Tuck with a breather. Howard with the footy.
That's, I think, now the most difficult kick in football. The kick out from full back. More difficult than any shot from goal in a reasonable angle. There's so much pressure to hit the target. It's incredible.
Tigers with a landslide handball advantage in this match. Patrick Bowden. He was 8th in the best and fairest last year and waxed with his brother a number of times. Methodical build-up this by Richmond. It's looking all right. Now the important ball, the entry inside 50. It's from Patrick Bowden to Cracker, and he marks at 45.
It's just a bit too quick there, Andrew Cracker. Matthew Lappin, if the ball's in flight and he's got some time to read it, he'll be okay. But if it's just an athletic event, he's going to miss out.
Andrew Cracker also made headlines over the summer. One of those footballers happy to have the season starting, and unselfishly he gives it off for Chris Hyde. Very well done.
Well, Jared Wade again. And it's just concentration. That's all it is. He's just assuming. One thing playing in defence, you cannot assume that Cracker's going to kick the goal. We saw it down the first quarter with Schultz. We see it here again with Chris Hyde. Wade is just assuming, hands on the hips. He's just got to play in front and play as if Cracker's going to hit Chrissy Hyde.
Did miss a game last year. Chris Hyde had that awful fractured skull the year before. He's kicking truly here, and the Tigers are back in front. Hyde gets his first. So they've had 7 goal kickers now, Richmond. Pettifer with 2, the only multiple, and they're out by 5 points.
Well, that hurts. Favola's had 3 shots on goal in the last 3 minutes. Right? They should be 2 goals up. Goes down the other end, bang, goal. And Jared Wade, he's going to learn from this first half. He's been okay when the ball's in the air, but on the short passing, he's just got to get hip on hip, body on body. Too easy, that shot on goal there to Hyde.
Well, Mark Murphy has had a fair bit of time on the bench. He was struggling to get the footy, and he's gone forward. And it looks like Moore is going to pick him up. They're swinging players around here, Carlton. Richmond trying to get the right matchup, but well, he's only had 1 possession, so there's a lot of upside for the Blues in him getting the footy.
Stevens with a big hit on Cracker.
That's a throw.
Moore Sold the dummy neatly to get Betts in the air, and then the vision perfect. Patterson will give it off. Tambling with options. Elects to go by hand pass. Foley at 45. Hits the top of the square. In front, Schultz. Tivendale rolls and goes.
Good goal.
Tigers up and about. Yellow and black army behind the goals erupt. And they're out by 11 points.
Well, that's what you call team football, Jared. They break the space. Tambling got the ball. He could have blazed away, but he put the ball to a dangerous spot, and that's one thing defenders hate. You see Tambling here. He gets it out to Nathan Foley. Could have had a crack at the goal, thought, nah, I'll put the ball in the air and get a contest. And that's great roving there from Greg Tivendale.
Jeez, we've seen a few crumb goals. Kevin Bartlett will be just ecstatic with some of these
And he's back
crumb
at
goals.
Punt Road now.
He is back. And, well, Nick Stevens getting pretty frustrated with the Tivendale attention.
Rowan Smith, down to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jared. I've been watching the last 5 minutes. Greg Tivendale's really got on top of Nick Stevens here, and he's just getting a little bit frustrated.
Patterson knocking it down. Bentic sharking it for the Blues. Kicking long in the Fisher direction. Over his head, he's waiting the forward line now. Eddie Betts providing an option. Rains, great tackle. It was rugby league-like. Hit him and it stuck. McGuan caught high, wins a free. Another look at it.
Well, it's a great tackle there from Rains. Great forward pressure, and they've got the ball through sheer tackling.
Been impressed with the Tigers' pace, Danny.
Yep. I think when the game's escaped and it's broken out the space, the Tigers definitely look better, Jared. And when the game's in tight and played on Carlton's terms, they look better.
Bryce Gibbs has got a new role. He's running one-on-one with Chris Hyde up in defence.
Tambling. His third AFL season. Kicking towards half forward. Carlton with numbers. There's a push. The former Saint Ackland will be the recipient.
Has a new rule been, Danny? Hands in the back. You're a fullback of old, but we saw it against the rucks there. Has it been the problem that some suggested it would be?
No, I like the rule, Jared. It tells players to go for the ball and use your body, use your hips, use your legs.
Walker's hurried kick inside 50, marked by Moore of Carlton.
Jeez, he's been impressive, this kid.
Your visual example of it, Danny, with Jason Dunstall on Before the Bounce on Fox Sports on Friday night was graphic.
Left a lot to be desired, Jared.
Did it?
Just showed how old we were,
I was
Jared.
going to say the phrase well past their prime springs to mind as Howard delivers towards half forward and Cracker marks at 55. He's got the lead short. Polak. And now we'll get a sense about his goal kicking, Jared, because it's a very gettable shot and it could be 3 in a row for Richmond.
Well, they've got the momentum, but he's got to convert. It's not his strength, as we know. I think you said 9 goals. Now, that's the issue for Carlton right now. They've got to get Lappin off Andrew Cracker. He's just too slippery.
The Blues led by 14 points early. If Polak kicks this, the Tigers are out by 17, and he misses. A let off for the Blues.
And it's amazing. I mean, you look at Graham Polak, if he had 2 goals to his name, which he could have done, you'd say, wow, what a debut for the Tigers. But right now, it's been reasonable, not great.
Walker feeds Simpson. Awkward one for Wiggins. Needed that on the chest. Oh, look at the courage being shown there. It's a high one.
He almost knocked himself out.
Simpson will take it.
Look, it was great play because Kane Johnson just... He was unconditional at the contest. You see Johnson and Simpson just go hard at the ball. Oh, hell.
Let him run.
The thing about Johnson there, he went low, which was good. He went lower than Simpson. If he went down higher, could have been in trouble.
Yeah, I thought he was stiff. He went straight at the footy. I think it was incidental.
Rains. Whoops. Hot ball right now.
Eddie.
Eddie.
What did he have in mind there?
I'm still thinking.
You want to try and beat Russell Robertson's goal on Friday night, I think, Jared.
The bar has been set high. Cloak, the hit out. Bentic spinning brilliantly, kicking at goal and missing. Carlton in this second quarter with 1 goal 5 now.
It's amazing. The 2 guys with tagging jobs, Bentic on Nathan Foley's playing well, and Tivendale on Stevens. The 2 taggers are dominating.
This is hurting the Tigers, their kick out from points has been as bad as I've seen it. I mean, it's nervous and early times. They'll have to get better than that.
Gasper with the intercept, the pass intended for Wiggins.
I definitely like Gasper up the ground now, later on in his career. Richardson back on, Pettifer off for the Tigers.
Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the first half as Matthew Richardson trots back into the fray. We'll have to be precise, and the kick was. This is Hyde.
Play on.
He'll stab it to the centre corridor for Moore.
Geez, the next goal's important,
Isn't it?
Carlton get it, then half-time. It's very even.
That's
Oh,
holding the
free
ball.
kick.
That's great work by Cloak. His first game in a Carlton jumper in official play, and the former Magpie does well. He thought about going to Houlihan at half forward. He might drive it long. He's going to give Fev a chance for a specky. And he's got it. It's play on the call, and he's hit the post. Oh, Fev is filthy now. Fev is angry. He wanted the mark paid. So did the fans. The Tigers, meanwhile, spirit the ball out of defence quickly. We'll wait to get another look because Tivendale moving it towards the southern wing, and there's a free for a hand in the back.
Well, that's the new rule there.
Pace of Richmond is just the big concern for Carlton at the moment. Carlton are much quicker than they were, but man for man, they just look a bit under.
Tigers building. Final 2 minutes of the opening half.
The Richo one-on-one.
Tivendale goes to him.
Free kick.
Richo's being held.
Inexperienced for Satana. He had his eyes off the footy. And that's just bringing the ball in quick. So Richo's one-on-one, and it exposes the inexperience of the Irishman.
And it's a great kick from Tivendale.
He's had a great second quarter.
He just Tiver just put it to the spot. He didn't even worry about who was there. He just put it to the dangerous spot. He was just hoping Richo was there, and he was.
But you ran into him front on. Come on, Richo.
Everybody's coaching Satana, including the umpires.
Richardson for his second. Tigers have kicked 3 in a row. And the lead is 16 points with a tick over a minute remaining.
Well, Terry Wallace is coaching extremely well at the moment. He's got the matchup right. Tivendale on Stevens. He took Richo off for a couple of minutes, brings him straight back on the ground, and voila, gets a goal and drew the kick.
And at the other end of the ground, we saw this happen, and it looked as if it had touched hands. But I tell you what, he's very stiff there, Fev, based on what we saw.
You'd get them paid 8 out of 10.
That's a mark.
He's got to put it behind him. He's kicked 1 goal, 2 and 2 out of bounds. The Coleman medalist. Well, the Tigers by 16 points. You see a minute 11 remaining from half time. And perhaps sensing that, the Tigers have sent Patrick Bowden to be a loose man in defence. They'll be happy with the score as it stands right now. Can they conjure up another goal? Crack of the clearance to centre half forward. Time clock ticking to a minute. Richmond building again. Nice little dummy by Hyde. Gives it off to Foley. Centering ball from the outside of the boot for Howard. Batters it on to Cracker. Carazzo the pressure. Howard from 50. Launches it to the square. Richardson again. And it hits the goal umpire in the post for a behind.
Pace of Richmond up forward in particular, Danny, is a huge concern.
Well, Jared, you've been on the Cracker case, and I agree. They've made the change now, but they've put Heath Scotland on him. I don't think Heath's any quicker than Matty Lappin, is he?
Final half minute. Polak laying it off by hand. Tigers lead is 17 points. Remember, they were down by 14 in the first
Schultz on
quarter.
his own.
Hyde's kick is brilliantly smothered by Gibbs, who puts the pressure on Newman. Might have saved something. Simpson to Betts to Gibbs. Kicks quickly to the northern wing. Time running out. Walker's got space.
Need a mark. 5
seconds. Kicks it towards half forward. It's too far out for Murphy, and the siren will beat them.
Stiff.
And Favola upends. Cracker. Look out, look out, look out. Look out, look out.
Oh, it's on.
Favola upended Cracker after the siren. Patrick Bowden responded, and the old rivals are going at it like it's the 1970s all over again. Brendan Favola has had a tough first half, and he engages a melee here. Will cool heads prevail? Last time we saw Fev in pitches like this, it was from Ireland.
Oh, don't remind us, Jared.
A free kick against Favola, but Crackers 100 metres from goal. Now, unless they give a 50 and then another one, the scoreline will stand. Buckle up, folks. We're set for a dramatic second half.
Well, it was an overreaction from the Tigers because Favola was just a pure accident from my understanding. But let's have another one.
It wasn't, Jared.
Where's that?
He's deliberately run into him. And Patrick Bowden was right there.
Yeah,
He wasn't happy.
He did hit him a little bit, but I'm with Jared a little bit
Wasn't a
clean on
lot
this
in
one.
it,
It wasn't
but
a lot
he
in it, but
did, he did hit him.
But I think that could have started something. Yeah, look, there wasn't a lot in it.
Oh, wow.
Tell you what, it got you wound up, I know that. You were desperate for that.
I'm looking forward to the next quarter, boys.
Oh, boy. It's a big occasion. There's about 60,000 in. Look at the crowd in the Great Southern Stand as the Tigers make their way off.
Well, they'd be thrilled, Richmond. They came in as underdogs in many respects, but their pace is, as we've said a number of times, has been significant. If Carlton are to win, Favola has to kick goals.
Tigers by 17 points at half-time on Sunday Night Football.
Well, that's a difficult one to coach because you can get matchups, but you've actually got to get your hands on the ball. It's not as if they're making mistakes. They can't make any because they're not getting it. So Dennis would be just going back to the basics. Boys, we need first hands. We're winning the ruck contests, but we just, the first 20 minutes of this game, we were alight. We had all the momentum. We didn't score, but all of a sudden we couldn't get any hands. So we're interested to see whether Dennis can get a Nick Stevens. He's their generator. Tivendale's done a fantastic job. Does he get Stevens to go to someone else and create a 2-on-1?
On the wing, they've got Mark Murphy. Now, Matthew Lappin started on the wing, and that's probably his best position because he can sweep, but trying to break the tag and get him into one-on-ones, Mark Murphy on the Great Southern side stand wing, and there you see him in a bit of a scuffle.
Off we go in the third quarter. Blues to the right of screen, Tigers and Delidio to the left. And the clearance was good, and Pettifer marks it right on the 50.
A metre inside 50.
Probably can kick it.
To the famed Punt Road end. He launches a goal. 19 seconds it took. You want the perfect start to the quarter? We deliver you Kane Pettifer.
Well, not only Kane Pettifer, but Brett Delidio out of the the centre bounce. Have a look at this. Just sharked it beautifully. Just leg speed. You can't beat it in today's football. And like all good forwards, Jared, you've got to be in front.
Yeah, he was leading up. You've got to be in front because the kick coming out of the middle, most clearances, is going to be a mongrel. Generally, they drop short. If it goes behind you, well, you've got an option to turn around and run onto a crumb, but they've just got to get the next couple here, the Blues, if they're going to stay in touch of this match.
It has been 6-1 since quarter time. Tigers out to the biggest lead of the game.
They've got to get better than that, the Tigers. Cameron Cloak to Stevens out the back is their standard fare. Good grab, though.
Brad Fisher. And he could just about kick this.
This is where they're falling now. They need Lance Whitnell. The skipper's had one possession in the goal square. They need him to fire.
Come back. That's it. Stay there, Joel. Stay there, Joel.
And Fisher is going to give it off. Curious option. Whitnell in a pack against Gasper. Tuck with the tackle. A bounce.
Has he got a chance?
Big Red has to find the footing. Third quarter, as good a time as any.
First game as captain as Cloak palms it down. Whitnell can run onto it now. Hook the kick around his body. And his second kick for the match is a behind.
Once again, the Cameron Cloak tap. He floats in and he flicks it out the back. And he's getting great success. But as people watch the coverage and he gets more time in the middle, he's going to have a few more tricks. But he's working with Gary Dempsey, so clearly he's got one of the great ruckmen of all time helping him out.
Bit of byplay. Joel Bowden wants 50 for a knock on the head by Favola. Fev just pats him on the head and says, "You're all right, Joel."
Kick it now, Joel.
Bowden goes short.
Thanks, Kane.
Andrew Rains on half-back.
Kick it now.
To centre half-back. Patient Tigers with Newman. They can play it on their terms now.
Stay there, stay there.
Adam Patterson.
This is where they look dangerous, the Tigers.
And they come unstuck.
Free kick to Fev.
Hold him by the jumper. The bowler's kick.
Good chase.
Leading ball winners, dominated by the Tigers, have had 82 more possessions in the game as Favola goes to Stevens. He could find an opening here. 45 metres out. Nick Stevens, good goal kicker, touched on the line. Wonderful work by McGuan, getting right back there.
Well, that's better. Play on quickly, get the ball in there. He was a little bit stiff. Great defence from Kelvin Moore. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, is that over? Line ball.
Bees whisker.
Simo, that'll do.
Among other appendages, Danny.
Don't creep, Kate.
The margin is 21 points. Patterson again.
It's as if Richmond have gone out with a game plan to say, look, we're going to control the play and just keep possession of the ball. We didn't see this in the first half, did we?
Not at all. And I think they'll be going for space because they know that they've got an advantage in the one-on-ones.
Tuck away. Delivers towards half forward for Tambling, but it's intercepted by Thornton. Told to go. He switches. Here's Gibbs.
Got Favola on.
Come up and later. Yours.
He elects to go a little longer to the young man that he played a lot of footy with as a kid in Jordan Russell, but it's over his head and Delidio's got it. Now McGuan going for Howard.
It's a real test coming up here for Carlton, Danny, just to see how far they've come in the self-belief stakes. They're now under pressure. They were 4 or 5 goals down against the Kangaroos at the Gabba, and they came back brilliantly. But they're playing a better quality opposition this time round.
Well, what they have to do here is just play tight. The Tigers are lowering their eyes, just spotting up targets. This is far too easy. What they've got to do is actually play in front of the Richmond opponent.
Schultz goes deep. Carlton in the right place. Houlihan waiting down, going without it, winning a free as Pettifer. Nick Stevens venting his fury.
Hand end into him. Look.
The reaction is priceless. The goal will be painful. Pettifer will kick his fourth. And Chris Camelons was right there. And Nick Stevens is as angry as a human being can be right now. And Pettifer just adds a little bit of salt to the wound. They're out by 27 points.
Well, danger side, you'd called it, Jared. Great front and square again, great spot to be. Oh, look, in the letter of the law, it may have been there, but
not even in the letter, Danny. That's a
you're
side
right.
bump. That's
no,
a
what am I talking
decision.
about, Jared? I'll slap myself here. That is a silly, Danny.
Decision.
I love contest footy, and that is not contest football.
I mean, Brett Thornton should have taken the grab. It was a good effort by his opponent to come back and bring it to ground. But Kane Pettifer, he's won Tatslotto there, and good luck to him.
Yeah.
Well, looking at the scoring shots, Carlton 6-13 now to the Tigers 12-4. Perfect bounce. Cloak in the Stevens direction. Didn't want to give away another free. Handball though, straight to Hyde. He gets it on to Patterson. Tigers full of run, 27 points in front. Looking for more. Tuck on the 50. Dangerous handball for Polo. Knocked away by Scotland. Good second effort. Then turns it over. Opens the door for Johnson. Hyde's handball intercepted.
Good hands.
Now, got to run the Blues. Parazzo to Houlihan. Here he goes. Southern stand wing is his. Could go all the way potentially. 4 bounces. Still going. 60 metres out. Centering ball for Gibbs.
Oh, good courage, young fella.
55 out.
Got him.
And good vision. And Houlihan kept on running. He's thinking about playing on. He will go back and have a shot.
It was a really difficult decision for young Bryce Gibbs to make there because he could see Favola with his peripheral vision. He knew the kick was to Favola, but in the end it was his mark. He had to go. And that's a good sign because in the end he said, in general terms, bugger you, Fev, it's mine. I'm only a first game player, but he did make it count.
We can't hear what's going on in the game. If he didn't hear anything, he had to go at the ball.
After 5 straight Tiger goals, the Blues need this from Ryan Houlihan. They don't get it. Now, that's off hands into the post, a boundary throw-in.
It's quite amazing. Not one Carlton player was on the goal line. 3 Richmond players. Just a lack of concentration.
Ackland leaping high. Bowden, Joel getting it to Polak. Rains. Here's that run.
Need a big spark here, the Blues, because if they don't find it soon, they're going to get blown away by the Tigers. They are running hard.
Look at these handballs. They're pumping them out. One too many, perhaps. Can Carlton trap it? Russell's got Foley. Foley hovering over it. Umpire says a bounce.
You're right, Jared. When the games play like this in close, Carlton are looking good. When the ball escapes, you just suggest Richmond are going to run them off their legs.
Crowded attacking zone for the Blues.
I don't know what I'm paying that one for, Kane.
Ackland. Murphy going without it. Here's Wiggins. Kick partially smothered. Whitnell needs quick hands. He's gone. Not his night.
No, he's had a dirty night, but you can't take any away from Darren Gaspar either. It's a great match-up from Terry Wallace, but he just is having a very dirty night, the Carlton skipper, Lance Whitnell.
And an important year for Darren Gaspar at 30 years of age. We'll be hoping to stay injury-free as he delivers to half-back. This is Patrick Bowden. He burns off the Blues with ease there, delivering to the wing, but Stevens with the intercept. Carlton on the counter-attack. Houlihan in the middle.
They just lost their way here, the Blues. They are really struggling for senior leadership.
Pettifer's on.
Stevens is the one exception.
Newman delivers towards Richardson. O'Halpin, good spoil. He's kept Richo to 2 second quarter goals. Houlihan to the wing. Good ball. Fisher. Stevens full of run. Can he keep it in? Boundary throw-in as Kelvin Moore is there.
I reckon the skipper, Lance Whitnell, will be on about it. His last 5 minutes. It's not working. They've got other guys like a Matthew Lappin who can go forward and kick goals just to change it up a little bit.
Or even put him to centre half back. Just try something different.
Holding on, Mark Murphy, kick, holding on.
It's a Carlton free kick going to Murphy against Polo for holding on. You heard the call, and Murphy does well. He goes quickly for Vola, leading out. Spoiled Joel Bowden. Fisher robes, goal square unguarded. It bounces through. Brad Fisher delivers a much-needed goal for Carlton, and they're back to within 21 points.
Well, you put the ball in a dangerous spot, and Fisher, look, great awareness. Great, look, kick the ball to a contest, something will happen. Just get it in there quick. Good contest from Fev there, right? And great front and square again. We have seen probably 5 or 6 of the best front and square goals I've seen in about 2 or 3 years, Clinton.
And that one provided by Brad Fisher. So they stay in touch for this MCG finals-like crowd of up close to 60,000, you would think. Can they get the next one? There's a free kick there for a hold. It's Nick Stevens. It's advantage. It's play on. It's Favola on the lead.
Oh, good spoil.
Joel Bowden, terrific. Murphy, still Carlton go. Betts trying to gather it. Does. Bentic, Simpson, Favola. Oh! Back to Simpson, back to Waite. It was labour-intensive, and they've missed it.
It's a great passage of play, except the finish. And good on Fev, he was going to lay it off. But the best sign for the Blues there is that Mark Murphy's starting to get a bit of footy.
Well, if you're going to make a mistake, and Fev did then, he made a mistake playing team football.
No, he had to handball. There was no way that you could kick anyway, but it's exciting stuff.
Oh, it was.
What about Bowden's ball about a minute earlier? That was terrific. Great forward, great kick, great lead, and Bowden just got his fingertips on it.
Now it's broken wide. He should end up with it, but no vision.
Moore coming to the northern side will be on the end of this kick.
It's amazing the expectations coming to this game. On the back of Terry Wallace's comments,
Yes.
I think everybody thought that the Tigers were going to limp into this match, etc., but they just look in great nick.
Oh, what a steal by Brad Fisher. The boundary umpire was miles away, had no chance. And Whitnell just could not get the bounce of the ball.
Lance is having one of those nights.
He wouldn't want to get a game of 2 up because he'd definitely lose every toss. He just cannot buy a trick. Have a look at this. It's a great kick, and then the ball just spills away from him.
The breaks of the game. 11 minutes of playing time to go in the third quarter. Howard with a centering ball.
Good work, Russell.
Russell put his body on the line, affected the spoil. Carlton winning the contested ball now. The Tigers with possession here through Johnson going to the wing. Patrick Bowden sizes up his options, measured it nicely for Delidio. And he can stab it to Richardson.
Well, Delidio's work off half-back is really hurting the Blues. And Russell has just got to be able to stick with him. If he's going to run, you can't be involved at the half-back line or his half-forward line and then give him 4 or 5 metres grace closer to goal.
Richardson with 2 goals in the second quarter, a poster in the first term. He kicked 45-40 last year in his 18 games. Good enough to be the Tigers' best, and now 11-time leading goal kicker at punt row.
It's been a bad spot tonight, this particular spot.
And that trend continues.
Rowan Smith on the boundary line, Matthew Lappin off, and Heath Scotland that hasn't had much of it, he comes on.
Yeah, I think Heath Scotland, I think they've got to put him into the midfield. He's such a good ball generator and a good user. If he gets it in his hands in the midfield and kicking it up to Pavola, it's going to take a long, long way.
It's a fair point. Scotland last year averaging 27 possessions a game, just 7 so far this evening. As that's well read by Casper, whose hand pass was a touch of anxiety for Delidio, who gathers, feeds Patrick Bowden, goes wide to the outer side, and McGuan's got it. Richardson. Tigers patient, leading by 20 points. They beat Carlton in both matches last year by 8 and 45 points, respectively, in rounds 5 and 20.
And they've pushed Richo up the ground because they want to get Graham Polak into the goal square with Kane Ackland as the full back. And I think that's a pretty smart operation here by the Tigers, because Polak can't kick goals, but he can certainly mark them close.
You heard the call, not 15, the kick to Rains. He was caught by Betts. Tigers still a chance and win out. It's Hyde who darts away with the goodies. Kicks to full forward. Thornton, good spoil. Gibbs to Stevens.
Jeez, he's run some Ks tonight.
Hasn't he been terrific? Nick Stevens with 20 possessions in the game. Carlton, are they mucking around with it here? No. Good fend off by Walker. And the kick's got enough carry too. That was neat. Bentic. Oh, that's 50.
Yeah, well called, Clinton.
Just holding on too long. Dean Polo pleading his case, but we saw it yesterday, including a crucial late call in the Kangaroos Collingwood game, and there was consistency there.
Well, it was a good 50, and it was...
Is it another 50?
He drew it from Nick Stevens trying to receive a handball. You see Stevens, his work rate.
Yeah.
Dean Polo assumed he was going to handball. Great run from Nick Stevens.
Gee, it's an important kick now, isn't it, for Adam Bentic?
Leave yourself open to interpretation. I thought it was a hole. Thanks, mate.
Martin Ellis providing the description. So this could be back-to-back goals for the Blues to get them within 14 points. Danny's called it a goal. It's perfect. The comeback is on.
Well, it's on the back of a number of people's work ethic, but the one that has been singled out is Nick Stevens. And he will run himself into the ground. He's in great nick, and he's got himself set, I think, for a big year, a year where he makes a statement about his career. But they just have to have a couple of others help him out. Kate Simpson has to find some footy, and I think that Rowan Smith is right. Heath Scotland, who's now on a wing, has got to start to lift his work rate and get some of the footy.
You're spot on, Jared. Regardless of whether Carlton win or not, Dennis Payne will be showing the Nick Stevens gut running here tonight.
8 goals, 8 goal kickers for the Blues. They're back to within 14. Look at him go. It is the Nick Stevens show on this Sunday night. Maybe Fev lost it in the lights. His second effort is good. How is he done?
He's just not sharp tonight, Fev, whether it's the injury or he's just having one of those bad ones. Very difficult when you're struggling to get out on the track. It's hard to maintain that polish, but 1-3 and a couple of misses. He's got to find the big space.
The last thing they need here, Carlton, is a 2-goal turnaround from that miss.
Good spoil by Waite. Boundary throw in. The margin is 13 points.
footy.
Dennis Pagan barking out the instructions.
Both holding, play on.
33 free kicks awarded in the match as the Blues momentum has swung the last 5 minutes.
Been good, Walker.
Walker kicks long. Feb's caught behind Bowden, but spoils very well. Opens the door for Eddie Betts. Sends a rainmaker to the top of the square. Kennedy. He's got a bright future this.
Well, he's not having a great night, Fed, but I tell you what, Jared, he doesn't get a mark, kick or handball, but the spoil created the shot on goal. And it was a great kick there from Betts. Just, again, you put the ball to a dangerous spot, it pays dividends.
Kennedy becomes Carlton's 9th goal kicker. They've got the last 3 and it's game on again.
And Josh Kennedy, the future. Right now, Lance Whitnell cooling his heels on the bench. There's the spoil you spoke about, but Eddie crumbed and cleaned up. And Josh Kennedy stuck his hands in the air and hit him on the chin.
Well, that's a big improvement for Vola, though, Jared. He's had a couple of misses in the past. He'd spit the dummy and put his hands on his hips. He's in the game, and I reckon that's a real positive for Brendan Favola.
Talk about the future. There's Big Red. He's just got to find some footy somewhere, and he may come on even in the ruck, Danny, just to get him into the game and get some ball. But right now, the pace is not helping him. This game is electric.
Ackland winning it down. Carazzo running onto it. Clearances going Carlton's way for the time being. Johnson will be able to run onto this one. He slips over. Kennedy closed fast. Betts was even faster. Carlton, can they prize it clear? Not quite. Tivendale runs into Carazzo. Now there's a high one. Tiger free.
See, both sides are just going hard at the ball and hard at the body.
6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Gasper with Favola closing. Look out! In the back.
Tough decision for the umpire, but I think he's got it right in the finish.
Yeah, look, he got it right, but at least Brendan is putting some pressure on. Probably a little bit overzealous there, Jared, as we see here on the replay. But he's intent. That's what I like about it. He's intent.
He is highly combustible right now.
He is very Darren Gasper.
A momentary lull here at the MCG. As I mentioned, Carlton with the clearances of late. Patrick Bowden with the football on half back. Oh!
Favola,
terrible
one-on-one.
kick. Favola for Walker are behind.
Well, down on the boundary line, Rowan, Carlton have changed their tactics.
Yeah, they certainly have, Jared. They are going one-on-one all over the ground here, and they've just really shut Richmond's run down. Richmond are just really trying to get some run. They're gut running through the middle, but Carlton just shut it down.
You're right, Rowan. They're closing the gap, which forces Richmond to kick to a contest. And at the moment, Carlton are winning all those contests. Ball hits the ground, and away Carlton go.
Ryan Hurlahan, I think everybody is just trying to draw breath here. You look back at the scoreboard, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, the Blues are just one scoring shot behind. And Rowan, Eddie Betts having a bit of a rest. Have a look at him. We'll get our camera if we can. He is absolutely without breath. Could have used a few there, but I didn't.
He's absolutely spent. He's just grabbed a drink and he's just walking along the boundary line, and he's got a little bit of the wobbles up actually too.
Well, Mark Murphy just come onto the ground. He's going to play in the back pocket on Cam Howard, so hopefully he can get some run out of Mark Murphy there.
Andrew Walker also off the ground. He really is struggling, but Nick Stevens just continues to run hard. And Carazzo, who hasn't had as much of the footy as normal, will not give up because his work rate's superb. And this time he comes up and gets a free kick, goes backwards. And Mark Murphy, Danny, is starting to slowly get the numbers right. I think he's had 7 possessions in this term.
You're right, and Dennis is putting behind the ball, Jared, and that's a great thing to have. Playing the midfield, didn't find it, but now he's gone behind the ball and he's starting to generate some pace. Great play there from O'Halpin.
Satanda, I should say.
Santa. All these Christmases are coming at once.
Wiggins, long, Favola the spoil, boundary throw in.
It's Easter, Jared.
That's round one. Look at Fev. He can sense the moment, Fev.
Something's going to happen.
Deep in attack. A goal to level the scores.
Oh, Gibbs.
Consider the scores level. Four goals to none in the last 13 minutes have brought the Blues back from the brink, and we're tied away at 77.
Well, Carlton supporters watching this, just watch Bryce Gibbs. Had two Richmond players tackle him, had the awareness to hit weight, and it started up the other end with Mark Murphy.
He's on Andrew Rains here. Rains is one-on-one, number 4 on number 4. It was a hoik, but it was a crow throw, but he still punched it. Good awareness. Now the Tigers are under the pump, Danny.
Well, this is an amazing game of football, Jared. We sense that Richmond are running over the top, but the game's played on Carlton's terms. They're winning every contest at the moment.
They had been getting the clearances, but the Tigers worked this one free. Tivendale, good ball to half forward. That was a tracer bullet, and coming out, Jay Schultz.
What do you think of this matchup, Danny? Thornton on Tivendale, on Pettifer.
Well,
it's not Pettifer, it's Schultz.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's Schultz now. They've made the change, Jared. Thornton was on Pettifer.
Schultz unloads long. Any score for the lead, it's a behind.
Well, Richo not happy there, just led a couple of times, thought he was on, but the big fella's just got to keep leading there.
Watching in close. Well, so you ducked into that. Play on. You tried to duck
They've got
under
a
him.
double huddle going here, the Blues. They've got one at centre half forward. Now they're spreading, trying to keep space so they can all run into it if they get this kick away, which they haven't.
Good pressure by Richardson, knocked it away from Houlihan, works with Pettifer, gets it on quickly for Tuck. Now Richo running to his right. Tuck waits, going to go a little longer.
Long to Schultz.
Tambling at the fall. No, Tambling taking the mark.
Well, it was a great mark, but Nick Stevens would love to have that contest again in the air. He just assumed that someone else was going to come over the top, and he thought, well, I'm an on-baller. I'm not used to spoiling. As we see in the replay, Nick Stevens just behind. It was just a slap of the fingernails. If you're going to spoil the ball, you need to clench the fist and drive through with it.
Tigers need a steadier. Tambling provides it. His first.
Well, he's a gold nugget, Tambling, that's just waiting to be unearthed at Richmond. He is a highly regarded young kid. The guys that saw him as a junior know that he's still an underperformer by his standards and his potential. Good work there by Richo to find Pettifer. But he's a player, Danny, that can take overhead marks. He's a good crummer. He's electric. And I think this is his year with a little bit of luck, and the Tigers will see a bit of reward for the investment they've made in him.
It's also great to see Terry Wallace put him in the midfield. Normally he's on the wing, a half-forward flank. At the moment, the game's in the balance. He's got Tambling in the action in the centre. That's great coaching.
13-6 plays 10-17. It's Cloak again against Pollack, who's favoured by the bounce, but no one there for the palm down. Johnson did well coming off the line. Bentic with the intercept. Stands up in the tackle, works it to Houlihan. And that kicks in the path of Simpson, which is nice. Rains closes fast. Wonderful tackle again from Andrew Rains. Advantage play on. Crack at a half forward. O'Halpin gets in Richardson's back.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in that.
Yeah, it was an important ball, though. Kate Simpson let it bounce, and in the end, I think the slippery conditions just cost him.
Now, loose men out wide. Tuck rushes it.
Well, should have put that to the top of the square. He had Pollack and Schultz just getting to that dangerous spot. Just play team football.
Good breakaway here. Lappin has run from 140 metres to provide that option. Knew it was going to be switched.
To the northern wing. White unable to hang on. Tigers have numbers here. They collide. Newman loops the handball over the top neatly for Tambling.
I think they're vulnerable right now, Carlton. I think they just look tired and heavy-legged.
They need this siren, don't they? A minute away.
Desperately.
They'd be happy right now at 8 points. Minute to go. Richardson for Cracker. He allows it to bounce. Houlihan closes fast.
Canberra will do.
What about that result?
Excellent play, Houlihan.
Drawn the free kick too, has he?
Got some feet to beat Andrew Cracker one-on-one in tight.
So the Blues will get another chance. 49 seconds.
All Richmond players getting behind the ball now, trying to really block it up.
O'Halpin is going to go dangerously to the centre corridor. Oh, is the mark paid? Yes, it is to Graham Pollack.
Now, Carlton better get everybody they've got, including people in the stand, in the back half.
It's okay to go into the middle of the ground, but not to congestion like that, Jared.
No, he needed to kick that 80 metres to make it a viable kick.
Final half minute ticking off.
No one pushing down, not enough communication for the Blues. Have got to get some spares behind the play.
I think Richmond are pretty happy to go in at three-quarter time of this lead. They're slowing it up.
Final 10 seconds. Richardson to the attacking side of the wing. Carlton at the fall. And that will do us for an engrossing third quarter. Richmond 85, Carlton 77. The final quarter not to be missed.
Well, they spent a lot of petrol tickets in that term, did Carlton, and I'm just not sure, Danny, whether they've got another gear to go, but Richmond, you'd reckon, didn't work anywhere near as hard as they did in the third quarter. So for mine, the Tigers look like they've got the energy.
They lead by 8 points. We'll finish round one when we return. Final quarter coming up to complete what's been an enthralling opening round. Good crowds across the nation for the AFL. Terrific attendance here. Sunday night football on Fox Sports AFL. Tigers by 8 points. Here we go.
What's the space behind Cloak? They've set that in the Great Southern Stand for Stevens.
Cloak to Bentic. Just couldn't get a clear possession. Cloak backheels it straight to Cracker of the Tigers, stolen by Stevens. Got it off to Murphy. The quick kick inside 50. Carazzo in front.
She's a good grab for a smallish midfielder. That is a strong mark.
Not only the grab, but what about the kick under pressure from Mark Murphy? Thought about the hands first and then was able to squeeze the ball out into a little bit of space to Carazzo to run into.
The Tigers kicked a goal 19 seconds into the third term. Carazzo to try and kick one in the opening minute of the final quarter. He kicked one in the first term. It's a big one. Pushes it across the face. Oh, the pain of it all. 10-18 and 2 shots at goal out of bounds for the Blues. They have been inaccurate as Richmond work it forward. O'Halpin with the spoil. Waite running onto it beneath the members. Wide of Thornton could be costly. Hyde onto it quickly for Delidio. Just stabs it into the pocket for Pettifer. Houlihan to mop up for Carlton.
It's a really game effort by the Blues coaching staff here. Dennis Pagan has let Bryce Gibbs to go full back on Pettifer. And so Terry Wallace is trying to get the young kid exposed at the most difficult spot.
Good running by Carlton. Favola.
Oh, that's good hands.
Very strong hands.
Nothing bad he can do there, Clinton. That was just a terrific kick from Bentic. And that's just classic power football. You want your power forward leading hard. And the best part about this, Jared, he's led up the corridor. He's got a kick in the corridor.
Exactly. He's not in that Bermuda Triangle on the other side of the ground.
He has had 6 shots at goal this evening. Usually that's good for at least 4 straight for Fev. There's the return. 1, 3 and 2 out of bounds. He's got this to make it a 1-point game. 2 minutes final term. The Coleman medalist answers the bell. One point in it at the MCG.
Well, he's matured as a player on the field, Jared, because in the third quarter it didn't happen for him. And that is just a very good goal. That's reward for effort. Didn't work for him. Half-time was a little bit of a push and a shove, but he's the danger man now. If they can get the ball in quickly and he gets the space that he had then, I think the Tigers are in a little bit of trouble.
Well, his old man was a superstar for the Tigers. David Cloak, He finished his footy, I think, at about 34 or 5, kicked 8 goals in his last game. But right now, Cameron Cloke, his son, is dominating for one of his arch enemies, the Blues, as a ruckman in his first game.
Stevens. Carlton have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals, and they're coming again. This is Simpson. They're running forward in waves. Favola wants another crack. Simpson kicks it in his direction. Bowden provides the spoil. Waiting down is Russell. Runs into a wall. Dispossessed. Polo caught. Flings it on to Tuck. Goes to the wing for Hyde. So much at stake on the opening day of the season for these two clubs. Hyde, short.
This is the way the Tigers have got to play the game. I think just hold it up and turn it into an endurance event, because they have got the speed and they've got, you would think, the endurance.
Richardson did well to assume the front spot, then get it to Tambling, caught by O'Halpin. Tackle Wingard, said the Tiger fans. Play on the call. Thornton to Houlihan. Hurries the quick kick away. Cracker is there. Half forward for the Tigers. Tuck to Polo. 55 out. Goes to the top of the goal square, and O'Halpin does well. And now Carlton are on the counter punch, and it's Cloke from half back. Oh, the big man backs himself. 2 bounces. His dad never did that. Kicks towards half forward. Fev on the lead, takes it on the bounce, has support. Carazzo, too far out to score, goes to Kennedy. Really had a shot.
Can't speak highly enough about Cameron Cloke. It was a game effort. I thought it was a bold effort to recruit him, because he looked slow at Collingwood. But they have found themselves a ruckman. Now, he was a tall forward, but they have found a really good mobile ruckman, Danny.
And he's still only 21.
Yeah, and he's lightened off, Jared. I tend to agree. I think that he's been absolutely sensational tonight, not only around the ground, in the ruck work.
Gee, how big would this be? Tight angle. Josh Kennedy, still just a teenager. Across the face, big leap, off hands, and the scores are level. Cracker in the back pocket.
This is where Carlton have really improved since the 10-minute mark of the third quarter. They haven't allowed the easy short kick. They've just got to man up here.
Good movement.
Stay there, Brendan, stay there.
Newman on halfback. Elects to play on. Handball over the top. Cracker backs his speed. Rains. A leaping Walker knocked it down. Foley, who started like a house on fire, does well. Gasper to Cracker. Inside 50. Running out of room, the Tigers. Thornton lost it. Collected.
Well, Kane Pettifer is going to really struggle to get a free kick. I think the umpires would have known that they got conned last time in the third quarter. And he paid for the free kick that time, and the umpires are basically saying, no, you don't.
Speed with Simpson on the outer side.
Stevens on if we can find him.
Still going, Cade Simpson. Crosses halfway. Delivers to the forward 50, and Kennedy.
Tigers have got to find something. Terry Wallace has got to get a playmaker going.
55 out, gives it a ride all the way to the square. Waiting down was Waite, couldn't get boot to ball. Carlton lead by a point.
You learn from that kick. He should have put the kick, Jared, to the top of the square. He put the ball to about a metre out. He didn't give the forwards a chance to run and jump at the ball. It made it too easy for the Richmond defence just to spoil the ball through. Here we see the Richardson-Thornton attack here. Look, 2 players going at it, but probably Richo just should have stayed a little bit lower there.
He's coming from the ground, Rowan Smith. He looks as if his night may be over. And talk about pressure.
Oh, gee.
There's a number of times now that kick-in has not gone to a man, but
there should be some Carlton players free here, Jared.
There's Martin Murphy, kicks the ball, this time to the top of the square.
And the Tigers are happy to knock it down and double Carlton's lead.
Well, that's a let-off there for Richmond, because should have done better than that. You tell what, Carlton's zone's been terrific tonight, though. Let's face it, Richmond have struggled all night to get the ball out after a point.
Joel Bowden played on, worked his way into heavy traffic.
And Fev just missed the tackle. And this time, the run is on through the midfield with the Tigers.
I'll borrow your headset, Jared. We're working with gear that's been around for a long time. Carlton by 2 points.
87 to 85. Tigers going forward. Thornton for Simpson. Houlihan running. Blues are lifting. Now Scotland. They've got some run about them now, Carlton. Drives it long to the forward pocket. Fisher and more spoils well.
Well, it's probably the only option he had there to go long down the line. We would have loved another possession to get the ball in a dangerous spot. But yeah, the Richmond defence, they're really under the pump at the moment. I'm not sure who's going to stand up for the Tigers, but it's all Carlton at the moment because they're dominating the ruck from this man, Cameron Cloak.
Brett Delidio trying to run out of Corky. Tuck's hurried kick only as far as Scotland. Now Stevens. Fisher. Waite. 40 out on the run. Jared Waite. What a goal!
What about the handball?
Matty Lappin under enormous pressure. Got it to Jared Waite, who threads the eye of the needle. What about that?
Well, Clinton, there was a lot of fumbles, and it took the experienced player of Matty Lappin, the veteran for the Blues, just to have the composure to say, OK, I'm not going to fumble the ball. There's no handle on it. I'm just going to give it to you, young fella, and you seal the deal for us, Jared Waite. This is a fantastic game. And again, Jared, you are absolutely spot on. Cameron Cloak is dominating this game of football as we speak. His ruck work is absolutely first class. Will we watch for the one over the back again, Jared?
They've kicked 6 of the last 7 goals, the Blues. They were 27 points behind 10 minutes into the third quarter. Jared's nodding. We'll give him a headset soon. Cloak down to Scotland. High to centre half forward. Fisher waiting underneath it. Oh, McGuan jumped up. Waite weighted down. Simpson, can he find an opening? Punches the handball to Fisher. Oh, Carlton, he's just missed it. The Blue Army were up. Look at them. They haven't been this excited for a long, long time.
You've got Richo and Pollack on the boundary line waiting to come on here, Clinton. They desperately need to get the big fella on.
The kick in very wide. Eddie Betts scoops it up one-handed. Kicks to the square for Bowler! He's paid it.
That's where you want the kicks. It's great team football there for the Blues, Clinton. Could have blazed away, but just put the ball into a dangerous spot. Look at this. This is great. Favola just stationary there. Put the ball to space. Allowed Favola to run and jump onto it. And at the moment, the Richmond defence are under extreme pressure.
They are an irresistible force right now. Favola has got 3. And 11 minutes into the last quarter, Carlton are 15 points to the good.
I'll tell you what, I'm a team man, Jared. No, here we go, Jared. You've got the headphones on now, but this is absolutely... The crowd there, that's sent tingles up my spine there, Jared.
Well, it's just a classic tribal warfare, this one, and this will be hurting Richmond supporters right now because I reckon at half-time they were entitled to think that they were going to be singing their club song tonight, but right now something extraordinary is going to happen if they're to reverse this trend. And we said earlier in the second quarter, Danny, we're going to find out a bit more about the Blues young kids here. Gee, you can't help but love what you're seeing. Their performance under pressure to fight back has been enormous.
Tuck's high kick. Bentic trying to claim the mark. Was never going to be paid, but still he fights on. It's been a story of persistence, hasn't it? We'll get a bounce.
Well, it's a different unit, the Blues, isn't it?
Yep.
Exuberance, youth, enthusiasm, the will to win.
Tivendale, who will respond now for the Tigers? Space for the forwards to lead out into. Schultz did that. The kick's over his head. Throw in. Delidio still trying to run out that Corky.
And he's a massive loss at the moment. They've got to find and hope he can get onto the ground.
Marks inside 50 this quarter, 5-0 Carlton's way. Scotland, oh, dangerous. Here's Tambling, 40 out on the run, just across the face. Tigers' first score of the last quarter took 13 minutes.
Well, three-quarter time, Terry Wallace approached his group, as we said, and he basically asked, what the hell's going on? You stop working. They went man on man, and the Tigers backed off their work rate.
And the last thing Carlton need to do here is start slowing the play, because there's still 11.5 minutes. They've got in front by playing on, attacking the game.
Yeah, and I don't think on tired legs, Danny, they've got the skills to slow it down and be cute with the kicks. And Newman's got it for Richmond. Told to play on. Now Richardson's got to beat several. Oh, good marking from the side by Thornton. Lappin shorts it. Scotland working hard, getting to the wing in front weight.
Well, he's been terrific since he's been moved up the forward line. He was all at sea down back, but that's been a match-winning move for Dennis Pagan.
Goes towards Fisher's lead at half forward, and he's got it.
He's given them the spark as well. And just having a look at some of the Richmond forwards and their work rate, you can see why the Tigers aren't now in control of the scoreboard.
Oh, Newman tried to concede a behind and does. Just.
When the ball was switched from one side of the ground to the other in the Tigers forward line, they just weren't interested in the chase and getting back and blocking up the space.
Just watching Newman and Pollack there after that contest. He's spent, Chrissy Newman. He can barely kick the ball in.
First game officially since round 13 last year, and that broken leg for Chris Newman. Halfway through this gripping final stanza, the Blues or the Tigers, who will be the last team into the win column for this opening round? Tigers with some work to do, having squandered a 27-point lead. Are they going to squander the ball here? Foley is tied up, held to him about.
Gee, very lucky. It's either over the shoulder or holding the ball. I thought actually Foley had enough time to get rid of the ball there.
Tivendale takes it out of the ruck.
And
Finds an opening. It's opened up for him. It might be him.
Well, somebody's got to lift if Richmond are to prevail. Maybe an Andrew Rains can go in the middle, but Richo's lifted.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from big Matthew Richardson, and can line up his third. He chooses to pass 1-on-2, and the one wins in Cade Simpson.
And Richo just had to go back and kick the goal. He's 45 metres out. Take the game on.
Brett Delidio back onto the ground.
Scotland in space. 17 possessions now, had 7 midway through the third, so he's provided a lift for them, and run as well as he receives from Fisher. Long for Bowler. And behind.
Well, Fisher's had 7 marks since half time, and they're all around the half forward line. He is that difficult matchup.
Yep.
He's 6'3" and he's extremely quick.
Chance here, Tigers, but have they got the run through the middle? They're plotting.
Delidio drives inside 50 for Pettifer.
That's class. Delidio's out in his feet, but just had the strength to kick that ball on his left.
And there you see it, Cramp.
And a super crowd, the biggest since their semi-final meeting 6 years ago, 59,847. As we have a look at that replay again for the very first Sunday night football here on Fox Sports AFL.
That cramp couldn't have come at a worse time for the Tigers, because it's allowed everyone from Carlton to get back, but they found space anyway.
And it's Jay Schultz.
That's inexcusable. In today's football, the play has been stopped for, what, a good 60 seconds, and they allow space in the corridor for Schultz to lead into. I think Dennis Pagan will be too happy with that passage of play.
Vital kick. They might not get too many more chances in these closing 8 minutes. They've got to take everyone that presents. Without a goal in the final turn, Jay Schultz will kick from just inside the 50. Gun barrel straight. They breathe again. Schultz with 2. The margin is 10 points.
Well, a much needed goal, and Dennis Pagan would be thinking we only need 1 more to seal the game. And then all of a sudden Pettifer goes down with a cramp, and there's a good 45 seconds, and have a look at the space that Schultz led into. And look, he kicked truly. The next goal is going to be super important for both teams here. Two
to Schultz, 14 for Richmond. Carlton 13 goals, 24. 8 of those 24 behinds have been rushed. The former Docker, Polak, in the heat of it now, in front of just on 60,000. Delidio tied up, a second bounce.
Carlton have been efficient. They've had 37 scoring shots and gone inside their forward 50 49 times. So they're nearly scoring every time they go in.
Tivendale, third man up. Carlton waiting down. Bentic, Murphy to full forward. Who's going to recover? Brad Fisher gets a gift. They're going to be hard to stop now.
Oh.
16 points the margin. Fisher gets his second.
Talk about Santa. You just do not get better gifts than that one. And I'm not sure who was playing on him. He just was pushing out the back. He ran hard down. But that ball should never have got through. That was a pretty ordinary attempt at a spoil.
Well, it was Calvin Moore, and look, you learn from that. If you're going to come off your man, you've got to impact the contest. You've got to get a piece of the ball or the body. He's come off Fisher, and for mine, Fisher's the guy that's wide hot. You've got to be super defensive, but if, you know, you've got to take the game on. He come off him, but he didn't impact the contest.
16 points the difference. Is the dream 6 weeks for Carlton going to continue against Kane Johnson? Entered the circle. You heard Martin Ellis with the call. Carlton the free. Scotland breaking to space. 60 from home. Favola short over his head. Eddie Betts getting back for this one. Boundary throw-in as we head to Rowan Smith.
We spoke about it at three-quarter time. The injection of Heath Scotland and Mark Murphy, and obviously Nick Stevens getting his hand on the footy in this last quarter has been crucial. You know, Heath Scotland's had 9 possessions in the last 10 minutes, and it's been a big plus for him.
He's actually now Carlton's third highest possession winner.
Nick Stevens the snap, a behind.
There's a point well made, Rowan.
And also, when the game gets tired, Jared, the taller guys, the ruckman, Cloak and Ackland, they're dominating the stoppages at the moment. With it, no Simmons, no Noble. The mobile forward ruckman in Polak, it started to really hurt the Tigers.
It's been 4-8 to 1-1 in this final term, but the Tigers have their best chance yet. It's Dean Polo on the run from 50, loads up, launches, and it's stopped right on the line. Play on the call. And Carlton with numbers can run it out. He needed about another foot, and that was all.
Brilliant effort by the Irishman.
Russell goes short. Murphy has Stevens on. He has run all night, Nick Stevens. Into the pocket. Good pressure by the Tiger defence to affect the boundary throw-in. Luke McGuan right there.
Well, Nick Stevens, take a bow. He is running from point post to point post. He's doing 200s at will at the moment.
I'll tell you what, good bonding by the umpires. I just saw the central umpire going down and giving the goal umpire a massive clap. Good positioning, all good stuff at the start of the season, Clinton.
Team bonding, don't you love it? Here's Polak in the back pocket now. 6 minutes to go. Tigers need 3 goals to pinch it. They led by 27. They muck around with it again. Oh, Russell's kick is agricultural. Who will run it out better?
Fish. Another minute. Thanks, mate.
5:34 to go. Whitnell's back on for the Blues. He's had a dirty night, the new captain, just 2 kicks. But there's still time for redemption. And a lot of it will be forgotten if they're still in front when that siren sounds. Richmond through McGuan. Defensive side of the southern wing. The kick will die on its way to Pettifer.
Oh, let him go.
Houlihan plays on. Remember, Carlton have had the tougher build-up. 4 quality match practice games in the NAB Cup. Here's Whitnell. Thumps it to full forward.
Dangerous kick.
Tigers with numbers. Who's waiting down? Fisher forces it wide. Delidio, look out for Vola closing. Hyde. Now Gasper going to Polo. Inside of 5 minutes. Not too much margin for error for the Tigers, but still time. Now, open forward line. Richo and O helping. They'll go one out. Richo in front. He
Too good.
plays on. He's got it. Richardson with 3, 11 points the difference.
Well, that was efficient. Schultz was at the centre-half forward mark. He was one out, and Richo was one out. They're the only 2 blokes in their forward 50, and it was a pretty good kick from Andrew Ranger, who hasn't had his best night, but that was one of his best kicks.
Well, it was great to see Polo. He started at the reins. He cut inside. They've got to take the game on. They've got to play through the middle of the ground and take some risks, and they're doing that now. So it's still Tigers are hanging in there.
Centre clearance so important here. Carlton have won the clearances today, 33-25. The next one is always the most important. The loser will be crushed. The bounce favoured Ackland. Tivendale didn't really want to get it out. We'll get another bounce. Clock will stop. 4:22. Another chance at the clearance. Stevens wrapped up. We might go for a third time. 5 seconds ticked off the clock. 14:25, playing 15-8. Nick Stevens, the leading ball winner. As Johnson gives Bentic a shove. Oh, and then you get a bounce like that.
Umpire, call that back.
That is awful. Fortunately, it didn't favour either side in the end in terms of getting a clear breakaway. You should toss it in the air now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, it's relayed turf in there because the cricket wicket's been taken out, so it's pretty difficult for them to get it up. So throw it in the air there, umpire.
With 4 minutes to go, Dennis Payton will be toying with the idea to throw someone else behind the ball because Richmond have to
Oh, and umpire Ellis with another shocking bounce. That's bad. Murphy delivers to half forward. It favours Carlton. Simpson knocking it on. Johnson caught high.
Got to move it quickly though, Kane Johnson. Time is of the essence.
Goes quickly to the wing. Patrick Bowden. Now, we'll give it to Gasper. Got to go quickly. You're going to be caught.
That's dropping the ball.
What a tackle by Walker.
Been the story tonight.
He's got Whitnell on.
He's his direct opponent, Gasper Whitnell.
Goes short into the pocket. Full stretch. Kennedy can't mark. Gives the handball away. Rains.
Great kicker.
Moore under enormous duress now.
They're away, the Tigers.
Newman to Joel Bowden. They've got space on the outer wing. Coming up on 3 minutes to go. Oh, the kick missed Pettifer. And it opens the door for Houlihan and the Blues. Oh, the kick had to be precise and it wasn't.
It's got Stevens on.
Thornton goes to him.
You just see Pettifer labouring there, though. He's just simply not as fit as his opponent. And maybe that's the 4 games in the NAB Cup that just makes you that more prepared for round 1.
Carazzo goes to Bentic. Inside of 3 minutes to go. 26 minutes showing on the game clock. They'll know there's not much time left. Bentic goes to the hot spot. At the back, Fisher thought about doing it again. The Tigers will get another chance. It's Patrick Bowden. Oh, and the kick's a poor one. The bounce, though, might favour the Tigers in the end. No, it was a wonderful knock to Walker. Body on the line, stuffed by Cade Simpson. Tigers are going to get another chance, are they? Johnson can't mark. Kennedy is wrapped up. McGuan takes it. Caught by Wiggins. Is that holding the ball? Tambling must be a high tackle. No play on.
It's
Hyde
great football.
breaks clear. It's desperate stuff. Hyde goes long. Schultz with the set. Gets rid of Thornton. That's in the back.
At the jump.
That's the new rule, Jared.
Just
You're
at the jump.
Carlton can slow it down now. Less than 2 minutes to go. They should be able to hold on from here. Carazzo.
Well,
Richmond have got a man up.
And Bryce Gibbs has still got plenty of run. He wants to win his first match. I'm not sure the Tigers have got the run.
It's been a thriller in front of nearly 60,000. Nothing Terry Wallace can do now. No
Someone's got to come in now.
Yeah, Carazzo's been standing out there for 30 seconds. Bombs it long. A contest for the Tigers. Wiggins. Desperate act. Russell now. Caught. Got the handball away. Gibbs. Fisher. One more will be the killer blow. Can Bentic provide it? Carlton are going to win it. It's navy blue delirium.
Footy's back, Jared.
Oh, this is fantastic. This has just been a great game. It doesn't matter who we're watching, but we happen to be watching two of the great rivals, and they've put on a magnificent display. It's just been fantastic tonight, and the Carlton dream is growing, Clinton. It's a fairy tale to win, and this kid is he's playing a lot better than he played in the NAB Cup. He's slowly getting used to it, is Bryce Gibbs. And it's going to be a hell of a week of da-da-da.
And we'll be seeing them on Fox Sports next Saturday night as they take on Geelong at the Telstra Dome. Margin is 17 points. We're in the game's final minute. Tivendale going nowhere. Holding the ball. It's the start of the Dick Pratt era. It's the start of the Greg Swan era. The Lance Whitnell as captain era. So much to like about Carlton. The Bryce Gibbs era.
Stephen Eck
era. There's been a lot of change. And it's going to be a memorable night.
Ooh, that's a ripping kick.
And Wiggins hangs on.
Not many ruckmen kick the ball like that, Spud.
Well, he's been a revelation tonight, Jared, especially in the last half.
Bowden with the spoil. Boundary throw in. Richmond led this game by 27 points 10 minutes into the third quarter.
But I just want to make one mention of a bloke who hasn't kicked a lot of goals, so he probably won't get too many raps. But I reckon Eddie Betts, when they were really struggling, his work rate and want to run defensively out of the forward line set a standard that a lot of blokes follow.
Coming up on the siren. Believe it, folks, it's real. The Blues are back. What a moment in front of nearly 60,000. They'll enjoy this. Said it at half-time to us. We've got the old arrogance and swagger back.
Well, I'll tell you what they did have. They had work rate. It was enormous after half-time. At half a dozen blokes keeping them in that up until that point, Spud. But, geez, the third quarter, they just really dug deep, the Blues, and they did it with a contribution from just about everybody.
Look, they did, and Brendan Favola's third quarter wasn't great, but he kicked two in the last quarter. You're right, Simpson had a great second half, Fisher and those type of players.
And none better than this man, Nick Stevens with Rowan Smith.
Well, Nick, what a great game. The boys came back. Richmond were in front, and he's just fought it out really hard.
Yeah, it was a good effort by the boys. At half-time we weren't real happy with our pressure and attack on the ball, but to the boys' credit, they stepped it up, and our fitness is really paying off.
You just said that then. The last couple of seasons you had an interrupted pre-season. This year it looks like you're flying, mate.
Yeah, it's all the boys are going well. It's a good team effort the way they've worked all pre-season. Got a great fitness guy and some real confidence around the group, so it's great.
What about the tap ruck work from Cameron Clark tonight? It was terrific.
Clarkie's been sensational. He's got a second chance and he's going really well, so it's great for Clarkie.
Thanks for your time, mate. Enjoy it.
Cheers, mate.
Nick Stevens, 19 kicks, 11 handballs, and, well, 2 behinds, just something for him to improve on, but that was just a great performance by Nick Stevens.
It certainly was. Fisher, I thought Fisher and Waite going forward in the second half, during that half forward line, they were really falling down in the second quarter. And look, full credit to Richmond, they'll gain some solace. I know they wanted the 4 points, but no Noble, no Simmons, Kingsley, so they're going to improve. They've had a fairly interrupted pre-season, so they'll be a hell of a lot better for the run, but it's all the Blues. Isn't it great to see these younger players here? You've got Gibbs, Kennedy, Walker, Murphy. They're a young team. They're all about 18, 19 years of age. Of course, throw in the veterans. Matty Lappin, look, didn't have a great game, but when he was turned to stand up, he grabbed the moment with both hands.
I thought their legs were going to leave them at the altar, Danny, but I've got to say they've worked so particularly hard over summer. I just think it rewards what they did. They took the NAB Cup on, they had a crack at it, and I think they've got 4 points and the win in the NAB Cup to pay for their efforts, to show for their efforts.
Not only that, the belief factor, because at half-time, this time last year, you'd say Richmond will win by 40 points. They were down and out at half-time. They come out and they wanted to show everyone, more importantly themselves, to win the respect with each other, and they dug deep. I thought it was a great team performance.
They've only won 7 games for the last 2 years, but they opened 2007 with a victory. We'll come back with the celebrations and wrap it up on a wonderful night at the MCG in front of 59,847. It's Carlton over the Tigers by 17 points.